In May of 2021, Gary Vaynerchuck launched the NFT project VeeFriends. I'm Darby Bailey, and I'm a Hangout Hawk. In our first year, we've begun meeting in what we call a Flawk, and we're documenting our conversations as we discuss all things Web3, NFT, business, and EQ. I invite you to listen in, be your own Hawk to our Hawk Flawks, and we'd love to know what resonates. Let us know what part you liked best in this video or audio.
Hey, Ben, I can definitely help pay for some stuff for the party. I don't know what needs done.
Oh, we're selling tickets, man. Don't worry about it. We got it. It's all good.
Tickets?
What?
Yeah, we're selling tickets. Yeah.
Ben, I feel like I missed the first
like
10 minutes and I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right,
Sorry,
Darby's going to clue you guys in. I got to run anyway. I'll be back on next week to share more information.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Ben.
See you, brother.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Yeah, so for the 15 minutes that before, well, now half an hour, it was just a party organization. Benny booked the space for the party for VCon on Friday night, the 20th. So we were just going through the logistics of that and making decisions on, open bar, the menu. And then now we've been talking about building a site so that we can collect some forms instead of just sending out Google Forms. We're going to have a site with just a simple graphic for now with multiple forms to ask other VeeFriends in the community if they want to help either be bouncers, be photographers, a DJ or whatnot. And you came in at the end of that. So That's where we are with that.
I'm there at the open bar.
Yeah. And so we decided to just, it's open bar, beer and wine, but they do have full cocktails if people want to upgrade to that on their own. We thought that would be best for the cost of the event. And also, I personally think that it'll help the wait staff and just be better because some people might not drink. So,
is this, can I ask, is this, who's the audience? Is it are the Hawks organizing it or is it just anyone party? What's the?
So the Hawks are organizing it. Let me share, we did a graphic earlier. Let's see.
Okay.
The Hawks are organizing it. We're going to have
this in 15 minutes. I'll go on.
We're going to have I forgot what it's called, like a backdrop where Benny said he wants to try and get sponsors for VeeFriends businesses, and a spotlight and a red carpet walking in, and it'll be ticketed at 100. Since there's 125 Hawks, it's going to be $125 a person. Hawks will get first access for a 1+1. And then if those don't sell out, we'll offer them to the VeeFriends community. And then we're going to hold, I think 25-ish for Gary and or special guests that we decide. And I'm not sure, actually, I forgot what the cap is, if there's a cap, but let me share this is the first graphic that we have right now. So it's just to save the date. I'm going to post this after our meeting tonight. It's at a brewing company in Minneapolis. It's like he said, 0.2 miles from the VCon. So it'll be food and drinks. And then we've started the sponsorship organization page down here at the bottom. So that's where we are with it. But he just booked it today, literally put the deposit down. And I was like, okay, now we can start making
okay.
We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like a year behind in this group.
It's like things move in waves, right? Just like Gary's, like this week, it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? There's so many things happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go around. I want to find out. So how are you doing? How's week one as a Hawk? And how are your kids? Are they doing better?
They are. So of the three. Oh, hold on, one of those coming up. One sec. Hannah, I'm on the phone. So wait, please. Yeah. So well, we all have COVID now. I started off with them. Yeah. I got just this morning. I was like, a bit, like the sniffy and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, well, I haven't been out of the house for a week. So my youngest daughter, 4-year-old, got it. Then the 8-year-old sort of started feeling under the weather, and my wife as well. And then last night, my middle boy was like unwell, and so he's got a fever of 38, and I'm like just feeling a little bit rough. No temperature yet. And we're all like, I'm boosted, so I'm triple vaxxed like as of last month. My wife was waiting on her boost, so she's vaccinated, and the kids, of course, they haven't rolled out kids' vaccinations yet. They actually just started them last week, so we kind of didn't make the cut for that. But yeah, everyone's doing fine. The kids the two have already kind of recovered, like they no fever, no symptoms, anything like that. Wife's been in bed for 5 days now, just not really able to move. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, so that's that. But that's I work from home anyway, so nothing's really changed for me. I'm always here. But being a Hawk has been interesting. There's all of a sudden a new community which I feel quite aligned to, even though it's only been a few days of Discord and like one Zoom session like at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. which I still like vaguely remember last week.
That's good. That's how I felt when I first started going to the Discords. It's just like, this is the right place. These are all the same kind of like people.
Yeah, I'm feeling very positive about it, and I'm excited. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, booking my flights today, finally, after discussing last night on Discord with some people about schedule and when people are going in and out. So, just confirm with you guys. So, Wilson, did we speak? I've only been on one other Zoom.
I haven't actually. It's the first time meeting, but I actually didn't realize, like, because I saw Japan, so I automatically assumed you're Japanese. But like, like, I kind of just said, in the chat that like Japan is like my favorite place to travel to, just because it's like so amazing there. And I'm honestly surprised that like COVID's probably like almost non-existent, right? Because they're so strict.
No, it's so. Not at all. Like it was slow, like early days, the first year or so of it. There just weren't many cases. It just was not becoming an issue. And then Delta sort of came just pre-Olympics and had a big wave of like, tens of thousands of cases.
Oh, okay.
And so Olympics were basically no spectators and what have you. But then shortly after, September, it died off to like 20 cases a day in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Which is like nothing. Like this is for the whole Tokyo, right? 40 million people, 20 cases a day. And everyone because everyone wears a mask, lots of people were vaccinated. There's not a big anti-vax kind of movement. It's not political. And then now with Omicron, it's just picked up. So there's like, there are 50,000 cases a day. Kids at school are getting it. I'm triple vax and I'm still getting it. So the vaccine's obviously not providing sufficient, like immunity.
Yeah.
So everyone's getting it. And it's not largely through everything, but lots of kids at schools are the ones that are now sort of bringing it. But they don't have strict restrictions. So like they ask us, please stay at home when someone's got it, isolate. But we can go to the supermarket if necessary. But of course, people are trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty much in the house the past week. But once borders open up again, please come for a visit. It's a great spot.
Oh man, I missed it so much. I feel like literally it's the best place to visit to. It's probably not the greatest place to work, especially if you're actually Japanese working at like a company or something. But literally, the food is like literally you go to 7-Eleven, it's like a 5-star dining restaurant, just because like everything inside is like delicious.
That's where I've been going for the past week. But it's my closest place, like 200 meters down the road, 7-Eleven.
Family Mart or anything.
It's a lifesaver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you based, Wilson?
New York, actually. So that's why it's crazy, because like this whole time I didn't get COVID, but then I had so many close calls where like I was literally next to someone who got COVID, like we find out, and like it's almost like kind of weird sometimes that like I feel like I should have, because I wasn't as careful, but then like it's honestly just like the luck of just like that one bacteria hitting you or something like that. It kind of sucks. Yeah. Well, hopefully you get a speedy recovery.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so in my case, like my kids they'll come in crawling and sleeping into bed with me, right? Yeah. And I was like, well, I still don't have it. It's just like a few days ago. I'm like, oh, no, I'm still clear. I'm like they're like sleeping in my bed, right? Or they're in the house. Like we decided not to try to isolate because they're so young, like 8, 6, and 4. We can't have a 4-year-old just in her room by herself for a week. Yeah. So we just gave up. We were expecting we would all get it. So I'm surprised it took this long, but but purely just going back to VCon. I just bought my first entry into VeeFriends and like started with book games and the Hawk. I just bought it a week ago, so I'm very, very new to all of this, even the Discord.
Book games and the Hawk are your first VeeFriends this past week. Before that, you didn't own any.
I didn't have any.
Gary? How did you get into this?
Oh yes, I've been following Gary for like a decade. I have, and then I just didn't like. I heard a bit about like I was going to tweet out away from him for about a year or so, just to focus. I'm a real estate agent, to focus on real estate business, and I was transitioning from one career to another. I'm like, okay, you know what? I know what he's going to say. I know what he's doing. Like, I don't need any more education or whatnot. And that was right at the start of his NFT kind of roll up, which seemed sort of quite quick in the scheme of things. So I heard about NFTs and I quickly looked and goes, we're doing a conference and get to a conference. And the Hangout Hawk was the only one that's like, or like, you know, these access tokens. And the Hangout Hawk was the only one which was like, ooh, okay, I can, hold on, remote access. Okay, that might work. A conference, I'm not going to go to the US, but the Hangout Hawk, okay, virtual, it's 125 people. Like, fuck, I've been on Zoom calls with 10 people and you can't get time, let alone 125. Like, you know what, I'm going to pay, was it like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just to be a member of like, just to be on a Zoom, which you'll probably post later anyway. But then seeing the market as time goes on, it's like, okay, you know what, I want to get to VeeCon. I want to, like, I missed kind of the crypto boat and even early web, like any of these big waves. I'm like, okay, now's the time I can sort of get into it. I think, you know, Web3 and NFTs are something I want to get into in the early days. Because in 10 years time, it's like, oh, were you in this group or were you not? So I decided to sort of get into it. Yeah, I was sort of looking at stuff, looking at whatever tokens and just for a ticket, just like, you know, a VF1, just so I at least get a ticket and get access to the Discord group and VeeCon. And then I just saw the Hawk popped up. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense, because I was watching some of the old, like, you know, old snippets of the Hawk sessions and stuff. I go, you know what, I need some. I'm thinking about, you know, I'm in Slack with the real estate stuff. I want a bit of an accountability group, like mastermind / group where I can sort of hold myself accountable to, and people like-minded. And because of the barrier to entry into it, it's not anyone can just sign up for free and participate on a free WebEx. I thought, okay, that sort of automatically eliminates a lot of the, like, you know, NFT people on Discord, which I feel like university students, that their budget, their lifestyle, the stage of their life is completely different to mine. Okay, the Hawk kind of makes the most amount of sense, so I went with that, and here I am.
Awesome. Benny, I don't think I've spoken with you much. I'd love to know your journey here, and I think I saw you talking to Gary Vee on what was it that I saw? A YouTube video? Did you talk to him or ask a question in an Ask V episode?
I did not, no. But I've just been following Gary for like 7-8 years or so. And I mean, like, I was definitely going to buy some of these NFTs, like when he started talking about the May 5th thing. And I bought 4 of them when they came out. And the Hawk is the only one I have left. I sold the other ones. And yeah, I'm just a commercial roofer. I live in Ohio. Rural Ohio. It's a family-owned company. This is the first year that I actually own part of it. Me and my cousins bought it for my dad and my uncle, and we also farm. So we're farmers as well. Wheat, corn, soybeans. We have some cattle too, but we've really downscaled that. Just mainly just doing just enough cattle to just to have something to do, I guess. It seems like just because we're always used to feeding them, I guess that's why we have it.
Well, it's a good steak, better than the one you're gonna give at the grocery store. That's for sure. Yeah,
well, it's definitely, now it's been like economical, but I don't think it ever has been up until about the last 16 to 18 months. But so yeah, I mean, that's my story. Just farm boy that roofs.
Cool.
Out of Ohio.
So you sold, how many tokens did you get, and do you have Book Games tokens?
Yeah, I bought 120 books.
Nice.
I sold some of them to do, like, I didn't really, I don't know, I just sold some of them because I was trying to like get lava ones. So now I only have like 5 of them, and then the Hawk is the only VeeFriend that I have. But I do plan on buying several VF2s when they come out. So.
Cool. And do you guys sell
For
your?
sure.
Are you guys farming wholesale, or do you like? Because both my grandpas are farmers, so
Okay.
we actually buy all of our like holiday meals. We like go out of our way to go to local butchers and stuff. Do you sell it?
No, we don't do anything like that, but it's something we've talked about doing.
Yeah.
Because we just take it all the grains, the local elevator right now, but it's something like we're talking about doing. I mean, because we're a family farm, and
Yeah.
like it's kind of a differentiator, like especially for like something like that.
Yeah, it's a totally yeah. If you're like how many
So
acres?
something
do
we've
you
thought
have? I'm
about.
curious how many acres you have.
We farm just over 1,000 acres.
Yeah, nice.
So
yeah, my
and it's
grandpa
grown a lot over the last like 2-3 years. We keep buying land.
Do you grow wheat? I was just reading about wheat imports. This is so random, but wheat imports from Russia, I guess, are a big thing. So
Yeah, we grow a lot of wheat. It's crazy. Like farming's never been like a big money maker because like a brand new combine's over $1 million.
It's crazy.
It's like you never like, and you wouldn't buy a brand new one for what we're doing, but it's still like we buy a brand new tractor. It's like $450,000. So it's like a really low return on investment. But the last 2 years have been pretty good because everything's like went up double. So I mean,
yeah,
but now it's caught up now because now fertilizer is super expensive. So
yeah, are you organic or no?
We don't do any organic yet, but it's again, it's like we've been thinking about how we're gonna move forward over the next 10 years or so.
It's awesome. I'm actually super interested in farming. My parents have an acre in downtown Salt Lake City, and they have a victory garden because I was raised Mormon. But so a lot of people here have like home gardens. And my mom's dad was a farmer, and they had like I don't know how many acres in Idaho growing potatoes and sugar beets.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Like there was I think John Deere at some point in the past couple of years made it so that the farmers couldn't repair their own tractors. I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
The right to repair. It's really big now, where like companies are being forced to like let you have the option to fix your own things.
Yeah.
It's like a whole movement.
Yeah, you can. We definitely fix our own tractors, but like I'm sure there's some sort of warranty related thing that you might be talking about, like if you fixed it and then it breaks, like something like that.
And it could have been
but we definitely fix. We fix all of our own stuff. Like my brother, he's actually the only employee of the family farm. So like right now, like this time of year, he's not really doing too much.
Yeah.
So he's having a good time fixing stuff and getting ready. So.
Yes. So are you planning on going to VCon?
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely be there. And I'm probably going to buy another VF1, even though I sold 3 of them. Now I'm probably going to buy another one.
What'd you sell them for?
I sold them like almost at the top of it. So that was nice. But like, I don't know. I'm just like, oh, geez, this is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because it's like, you think, I see like some people hold it. When you hold this, like, say it's worth 20 ETH, 30 ETH, you're like, I wouldn't buy it at this price. Like I wouldn't just put $100,000 now cash into it. But by me holding it, it's really this, because I can go back to, you can go back and forth at any time. So hold on, for zero cost, I can either just have $100,000 or this asset, this token, the JPEG. Let me call it JPEG just for shits and giggles. Well, hold on a second. I wouldn't do that now. I think it's crazy because I've already got it. I'm gonna just hang on to it. It's hard, and I think that happens with stocks as well. There's research on it. Like if you've already got something, you just sort of tend to hang on to it, even if it's may lose. You wouldn't buy into it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like I'm a long term on it, but like I just like bought a roofing company, and I mean I'm gonna be making pretty good money over the next 10 to 20 years. I can buy another one whenever I want. That's kind of the way I was thinking about it. Like it was $80,000. I sold them 3 of them for, so I'm like, I bought them for like nothing. So it's like it was really hard. I wanted to keep the Hawk for sure. So
how come, can I ask, because I was new into the Hawk thing and I have a bit of an idea, but so because you had them and you sold all but the Hawk, what can I ask you what do you get out? What have you been getting out of it? What do you want to get out of it?
Yeah,
what was
so
your reason
I
for keeping
probably
that?
have one of the best returns on the Hawk already out of anyone, I would say, because I met Ben Fisher, and I've actually seen him 3 or 4 times now, and have implemented some things my roofing company is a family one, so it's actually been around about over triple what Ben Fisher's has, but his is really innovative, and like they got a lot of good processes, and I've taken some things they've been doing and have specifically this system called EOS. It's like a way to operate your company on. And there was a time there where there was some family dynamics, as a family company, where it was just like, I didn't know if I was going to stay. And then we started implementing EOS and talking. And now it's like, I don't know if I would have stayed in the family company if we didn't do it. So it's really, and that's only, and maybe I would have found that some other way. I don't know, but I definitely found it because I met Ben. And then now there's other things that have happened because of it. I mean, I was just with Ben for 4 days, last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at a training his company was putting on. And like just that one relationship for me is going to really bring a lot of value, and it has, and also like a friendship. And again, that wasn't from just owning the Hawk, is because I actually drive my ass to Pittsburgh. But I only met him because of that. And he's pretty well known in the roofing industry, so I'm surprised I didn't ever hear of him. But I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars in returns already, I would say I've gotten.
Oh, so was that the Ben that was just on here before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to circle back with that because he showed us the EOS system too, Benny, and we decided to use it for these calls.
How do you implement it? Is it just a system, or is it like a software that you can use to get you going?
Yeah, so there's definitely a software if you want to use it. It's called 90.io.
I'm going to screen share. So I just accepted his invite. Then he created an account for us. And it looks amazing. I'm somebody who is not good at delegating, and so this looks really good.
It's called the entrepreneurial operating system. It's just like a good way to operate your company. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but like this one, I think specifically with the duo leadership, like that's why in my case it was so effective, because like I'm a visionary in the company, and we were having some issues with like how we were transferring it and like who was going to do what, and it really ironed all that out.
Yeah, so the key concepts of this are that you're either, what was it, a visionary, or what was the second role?
Integrator.
Or an integrator.
Integrator, yep.
And like I have, all the, shoot, I did this already. Shoot, so it breaks it down into, Benny's a visionary, and he, like a lot of people, and like me and a lot of people I know, my brothers, I had tried to help them run their businesses. If you don't, as soon as I saw those two breakdowns, I'm like, that's exactly the problem that I've seen in so many businesses. You have all these ideas and you're trying to get everything done, but everybody else is like overlapping and stepping on each other's toes. If you're the visionary and it's all based in, or a lot of it's based on accountability, there are some hierarchies in here where you find somebody.
Open it up, load it up.
Okay, keep talking. I gotta find my email real quick.
Well, she does that. Hold on, does that. So book games right now, the VeeFriends site is down for the exchange for the, they're doing the burn sale for the Beacon tickets. Yeah, so VeeFriends, the exchange is down. I think they're having technical issues.
What's the burn sale going on? What's that like? What's going on?
So five for like a Beacon ticket.
Five wood frames for one of the Go or Goo VCon tickets that's on the exchange. It was 13 that had to be like a royal flush, or a flush, which was like 13 all lava or all hollow or something like that. And because they have conviction gratitude, it was like ridiculously expensive. And people weren't doing that. And so he's been for about 2 weeks now saying there's going to be a burn sale for the tickets, hot crazy burn sale. and I think it's going to be just 5 wood frames, which
Oh,
comes
so it's
right
not
out of
officially It's not officially though what it is.
What do you mean?
Like it hasn't been announced what it is, or it has.
Oh
Like,
no,
it's 5.
I think it's pretty much 5.
Yeah, it's five wood.
Oh,
And then
There's a lot of tech issues right now. I think they're holding off. It sounds like everybody's like figuring out in the chat. Some people heard it and it didn't work, and then I think they're working through some bugs.
So what happens? Maybe 5:55 p.m. Eastern. So it's that like 2 hours ago, I think. And some people jumping on and trying to do the burn. So basically 5 wood frames for to exchange one of the Go tokens on the site, on the exchange. But they were having some issues, and now the site is down. So I think they're trying to fix the technical issues, I think they just got overwhelmed, and there were some technical issues with the actual execution of the burn those tokens to get it. Some people were saying my tokens didn't get burnt, or they're burning the wrong one, something like that. So yes, I think they're fixing the technical issues, but that's what's happening. So there's
how many are available?
1,000. So
only 1,000.
Well, yeah. So Gary has 1,000. He's holding about 1,000 VeeFriends one. So all those 1,000 VF1s are getting tickets issued. So those tickets that are issued through his current holdings are the ones that he is putting on the exchange. Okay. So he's not adding more tickets to the market. The original 10,000 VF1s had 10,000 tickets because he owns.
That's what I thought he would do, something like that.
Yeah. He's not adding to the number. I think there was some confusion in some of the.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, he just going to sell more tickets.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. So I was in a.
Yeah.
Do you guys do Clubhouse much?
Do what?
There's a VeeFriends Clubhouse, the Clubhouse audio talking app.
It's been. I don't hop on very much. I do Twitter Spaces more often than not.
Okay, because there's a daily actually VeeFriends group there that.
Is it by Sal?
Yeah, Sal the Guardia.
I think I've joined maybe once or twice really early on. I didn't know they're still doing it.
Yeah, they do it. Like,
I didn't know they're still doing that either. I seen Sal in Miami in December. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
He actually, I'll bring something up about now. We mentioned Sal. So he reached out to me. So I was talking to him so last night, about 12 hours ago. And he's reached out. So he's starting. Like he used to be a radio host like 15 years ago, and then Gary gifted him and then he stopped and whatnot. But then Gary gifted him a tremendous tiger, about a year ago or so on Discord, and it's completely changed his life. Right, he's gotten fully into the community. He's gotten back into announcing and what have you, and now he's starting a new radio show. And it's starting. He's got people on there, and it hasn't actually started yet. It's planned, but I think all the logistics are set up for it. And it's basically a crypto NFT radio show dedicated to that. And he asked in the chat this morning your time. He asked in the Clubhouse, going, look, if there are any hawks out there, he would love to, if possible, get gifted a session to join. And because he wants to ask Gary if Gary would be the first guest on his radio show,
Yes.
Which would really blow up his show. And it's not a podcast; it's proper like on radio, whatever proper regular radio you guys have. And I'm thinking I said, look, he's like, I've got a question to ask. Want to ask? I'm like, it's my first session, so I don't want to miss it. So can't give it up to you. I will ask in the Discord if anyone's got multiple hawks, if they want to gift one of the participations.
And actually, the other Ben you saw before, he actually has multiple hawks, and he gifted sessions before to like 2 people.
Yeah, he's given one. He's already given
selected. They both got randomly selected to ask the question too. Which is kind of cool.
He's got a guy for this one already.
Yeah, but the other people were kind of mad about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Like every time.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I get it. So like, I don't want it to give, because I did watch the replays, the links, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Everyone has a small window. Not everyone gets the opportunity to talk. So for someone who's not part of the community, like not a hawk holder, to get time on that, I feel that's a bit of a disservice, or the balance feels strange. I did say, look, we have a questions list. So if you have a question, I can put it there and they'll knock those 3 or 4 or 5 out at the start of the call. So that's reasonable, right? That's fair. But one thing I was thinking was, if for example, his show becomes super popular and it does become the thing, the fact that, if the Hawks are someone that has been able to help him with that, right? It's like just sort of imagine, he would become super successful, and he's quite successful now already, like, and known in it. He's one of the louder people in the space. If it does become like that, it kind of increases the value of Hawks, especially if his very first guest is Gary, and it was like, how'd you get Gary to be the first person? He's like, it was through the Hawks, the Hangout Hawks. I was able to get a platform with him and get access to Gary and get Gary on my podcast, even if it was just for a minute, or make him aware of it. That will, selfishly speaking, increase the value. Like, other people will know, wow, the Hangout Hawks have this level of access. So that I think it's a kind of interesting position. If
For sure.
request it,
You can try voting it.
fulfill or add. Yeah.
So like in the thing, like right before it, the Q&A, if you put your question, any questions, and then like have people vote it, that's how he'll kind of knock through all of them. But like, just honestly, like seeing when, like, these kind of Hawk meetings, whenever someone does self-promotion, he does kind of like push back a little bit, because he tends to do that a good amount, Gary, where, if you ask him for a commitment, especially something that's time consuming, he generally just like, says like, I would love to, send me an email, kind of a thing. And it's kind of hard, because you could see the chatter of like people just kind of like being turned off by it, and then they just like kind of like saying like, making kind of comments in the comments section. So like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword whenever you did that, because I honestly, like, when I was in the first session, and he picked me when I wasn't ready for it. And then like, I actually wanted a little bit of self-promotion, but I got so nervous that I just asked him like a throwaway question that I already knew the answer to. And it's one of these things where like, you gotta be really careful, because you have so many people looking at you, right? So then you gotta try to say something that like is beneficial to everybody. And then the next couple of sessions, everybody's just like self-promotion kind of things, like, oh fuck, I should have said something. But then like, honestly, at that time, I wasn't really ready for it.
How many people you think are in the sessions last time? Listen, I don't even remember. It's not like the full amount.
I think it said 80.
It was a good amount last time.
I heard him
first
say
one
about
though,
80.
it's like only like 60 or 70. I thought the first one.
Yeah, the first one was very little. That's why, like, I literally, it was so, like, literally, I saw he said my name, and I literally just like went blank. I was like, oh shit, that's me. And then like, you just see me like kind of like I didn't know what to say, and then like, I just said this like weird question, and then like he answered it, and I just looked so sad for the rest of the sessions. Literally, you see a screen cap of me just frowning. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. So and I get that, like, just straight up to someone to come up and me, even like me, my first time, I got a friend, he wants you to be on his podcast. Like, that's a massive ask. I get that. Yeah. But I'm thinking,
Gary knows Sal though. I mean, he knows him. Like he's seen him in Miami in December when I was there. Like I left, and Sal and everybody that I left because I had to go work. Like, they all met up with Gary. I mean, like, I think it would be a little different. Like, you think he could maybe just reach out to him on Twitter or something, even and try.
You should tell Sal to email Gary, right? And just like tell him to do it directly, because he does reach back sometimes. Because there's I don't know if you know Alexander the Great. So like, he had like 14 million followers on TikTok, and then after he asked his question, Gary said just email him, and then just write something in the headline to catch his attention.
Yeah.
And then now he's just like kind of like, he has his own thing, he has his own like Discord, and he's like, almost like he has so much, he doesn't even have time to kind of be involved in the Hawk chat anymore, because he kind of blew up so much. So like, it does happen. Like, it's one of those things where like, Gary says it himself, right? He'll respond to you. If he has time, he'll do his best. So like, just tell Sal to just keep on sending him that email, and just like something in the headline, just say like something to kind of hook him into actually responding. And
do we have another Hawk session before VCon, or is this the last one?
Yeah, there's two, because there's the 22nd, and then there's another one in April, right? March, because they need to get 5 done before May.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's 2 more, but yeah. So I was thinking like, definitely not the hard ask, but rather what you're saying, because I've noticed the emails is, look, Sal's interested, you gifted him the tremendous tiger. He wants to reach out. He's starting an actual radio show, and he's keen to discuss with your team about, some kind of possible involvement. Can he at least, who can he email, or can he just email and reach out? That's it. I don't want to put any asks on here, but see how it can work. At least just get permission to email him. From that.
You don't need he literally said you don't need permission, because you should tell him to just do it. And also you can keep on doing it, because if you keep on doing it and you're persistent about it, especially he has a little bit, he'll remember him at least, right? Just say Sal, you gifted me this, and I'm and just write that you inspired me through this radio show, and now it's blowing up again. That's the kind of stuff that I mean, I don't really know him, but then just watching his content, that's kind of the vibe I get.
So I can get Sal to do that, but then just as also a bump in the talk, it'd say, by the way, that's if I get my window to talk.
No, but what I'm literally there's a Q&A thing, type it in, just say Sal, blah, 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 and then write it in it. And then if you want, we can upvote it, right? If we upvote it enough, the moderator will actually run through these questions before talking to the Hawk, right? So then he'll run through that real
I saw that.
quick. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So if that happens, then you kind of get that in without having to waste your question in self. That's literally probably the best bet, because honestly, even at the four of us, we might not even get chosen if you raise your hand, because that's one of the things too. If you want a question, you just have to kind of go for it and just raise your hand right away and try to be one of the first people.
So so next week we have, it seems like next week a heavy focus should just be reminding people and sharing the list of questions to upvote, since the meeting is on the 22nd. So I'll just notch that in my brain to remind people, and keep sharing that link for us to upvote and review those questions. Is that a good idea?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna look. I was on the Discord. I'm kind of new to Discord as well. I was trying to find. So I'm just looking at it now.
It's a pin.
There's a bunch of pins.
Yeah, it's a pin. Yeah, but there's a few. Yeah, there's a lot of pins in there. So, and there are some questions from previous. And where do we?
So those are the old ones.
It needs to be cleaned up. Some of those questions may have already been asked. That list was started last June, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of curious where, so I just want to ask, while we have you now, and then just after this is done, we can jump onto the other bits and pieces. I'm going to show you. So
this is what my attempt, because I was having a hard time in there too. Getting a place where, I think I'd updated it so that in this worksheet we have the.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to put it here and make it front and center so that we can all track it. But yeah, right now it's pinned.
That's the directory. But from the actual Discord site, right? So I go if I'm looking on my phone, right? So
if you look at the hashtag on the top, let me just pull it up real quick.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to go the Hangout Hawk section hashtag.
So you see this thing right here, that little guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Click that, and then right here Q&A.
The pins. The pins. In the pins.
Queues?
Yep.
Is it this session 4 queues? Is that one?
Yeah, session 4 queues. So I think this is no one really asked a question yet, except for Laura saying.
Session 4 queues. Okay.
Actually, we should upvote that, because question that Laura asked if Gary would stop by the Hangout Hawk party. We should all kind of upvote that, literally all of us, right?
I didn't even know this was here. Honestly, I totally missed it in the feed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What are Gary's thoughts on the Looks Rare platform?
Oh.
Let's see. Okay.
You see it, right?
Yeah. So I got this one. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So you just write your question there, and then the number of upvotes will decide which questions get actually asked to Gary on the day, and he's gonna kind of fire through them lightning round it.
Yeah, I saw how he does that. How many questions usually come up, and how many does? Because you answered like 3 or 4 last time, but were there like a dozen questions that were uploaded, or?
There's not that many usually, and
Yeah, I
like
was thinking.
I feel like he almost answered all of them last time. Honestly, most people don't actually take the shot and ask these things.
Yeah, I was getting that vibe. I'm like, this is the time.
There's a lot of people just sitting back and then like yeah. So it's I feel like we should kind of like brainstorm questions that are actually beneficial and that can like kind of help us in a way if possible.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that's what.
I'm like, until I already know, until I get to 64 pieces of content a day, every one of my questions is going to be related to that. So I've been working on that. And so
Yeah.
I've been listening and learning. And that's why I was like, you know what, I have time to help the Hawks. So I'm just going to focus on helping the Hawks. And then I was like, well, if I can figure out how to automate myself out of my job by creating tools to create 64 pieces of content a day and pass it along to all the Hawks so they have kind of a template too, that's what I'm working on. And until I do that, I don't have any questions. We've got 3 years, so.
Oh, by the way, everything you're doing, like I'm just like so impressed by everything you're knocking out. Like, oh, let's do these. We got these sessions coming twice a week. We got like just this stuff. The coordinate. I'm just like, yeah, just wow, really, wow.
I'm literally like living by I'm like, commitment. Okay, what can I commit to? You can't like how much can I give? I'm literally trying to adopt like the 12 and a half because it's
no. I'm like there's giving. There's people that like kind and will give time. I mean, like just the execution, like the organization, coordination, of real like what you've got in front of you, just your sheets and your this stuff. Like people can have ideas and give, and I'll give time and I'll help and stuff. But you're creating, like you're driving it and actually making the tools. It's not, I've got an idea, hey, let's build a website, and then this is the design, but then nothing happens. Like, oh, look, guys, here's the website. Like, let's like here's something I put together. Like, there's actually output, real output that's coming on. Like, oh, okay, well, like now we have something to work with. Yeah,
so this is like someone's full-time job, and she's doing it as like a side hobby.
Yeah. Like
well, I've learned like self-awareness. So yeah, I was like, I was watching, and I'm like, I know how to do that. And there was a place where it just do it, just step up and do it. Because I was it was that outside validation. I'm like, if I don't ask for outside validation and I just do it and see what happens, that's what I keep having to remind myself. Otherwise, I'm just like, is this okay if I do this? And if I stop doing that self-talk, then I'm like, you're seeing what happens when I don't have self-talk that keeps me from doing stuff. So
like in Japan, it's like we have meetings to pre-meetings to confirm what's going to happen. That's going to be discussed in a meeting. It's pretty fucking ridiculous, right? Like, okay, this is the purpose of the meeting. I used to work for big IT and it's nuts. Whereas, and they want to get a consensus, be fair. So they discuss, and even like the kids' school, the PTA, the Parents Association, they have meetings to discuss what's everyone's idea. Is everyone happy with this? Okay, we need to collect information. What platform are we going to use to collect the information? Whereas you're like, okay, hey, let's collect information. Here's a Google Doc. Here's a Google form I've prepared. So there's no need to discuss. Okay, I guess I'll just use this. And people, I prefer Google Docs. I prefer this app. Let's have a vote for which app we should use for the information collection platform. It's like all that is fucking skipped.
So my job right now is at the University of Utah, and before it's the same as that. It's what you're describing. Like they have meetings to plan for the meetings. But I worked for a startup in Palo Alto that was magical and it was life-changing, which feels exactly like VeeFriends feels from 1999 until I still contract for them. And I'm like, holy shit, this is the same type of ride. What happened? How did people execute? People would just do it. Like they would just stay up all night. Like it was full on Palo Alto garage. They would stay up all night and build an entire IVR system. And then they demo it. It's like build first, break it, and ask for permission later. So I'm trying to adopt that because it's madness here at my job. Like that's the thing that frustrates me the most is you have to go through all this red tape just to like build a website. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, so that's the entrepreneurship, like private, like being an independent person working versus like the red tape. But there's a reason for it. Big institutions have regulations for a reason because they're protecting like data and all that stuff. But yeah, it's fun now because I'm like, oh, I can do that. Watch, I'll just do it. And I'm like, I did something. Yay, I didn't have to like have 8 meetings about it.
Yeah, no, and it's great. Like I'm looking and go, wow. So, like even just now, this the hawkflawk.com site, right?
And it's just me, like I've built so many sites, it's like, that's not the site, but like, yeah, you just plug it in. And if you just, honestly, like Benny's like, throw some money at it, make it happen. It's really
Yeah, I
true.
mean, but like there's a domain, right? Like just discuss discussing. It'll be like a dozen meetings to figure out to come to agreement on the domain name, and then the domain, the host, and then which like whether it's WordPress or just whatever. It's like, okay, you script that, and hey, here's one I've done, and okay, let's just work on building this.
Nobody said no, so I guess maybe that's the new mantra.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody said no.
Good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so
Now you
yeah,
own
I'm
it
impressed.
also, so
What?
you have that leverage. You own it, so then
Oh,
own it.
you're gonna be pretty much a hawk forever, even if you don't have the token.
I'm honestly like, but everybody can have an admin and we can all build in there. It's all good. Like the way I'm thinking is, the more I do to make this hot group work, the more the higher the value of the token will be. That will help. Like Gary's only one person, right? We're all like, we all own our own business. So the more we can all level up and like make this what we want it, the more it's going to help Gary, and the more it's going to help the entire VeeFriends community, because we're the only group that has that opportunity. The gift codes maybe, but it's not really the same thing.
Yeah, but like you also remember in the beginning, like I feel like a few of us tried this, and then like it kept on getting shot down, so it was so demoralizing. So it's nice to see that like now people are starting to like show up, So it's pretty cool, like to see where like you started it and where it is now, that people are actually collaborating versus like in the beginning everybody's like, oh, let's wait, and then like we'll see how it goes, and everybody's just so kind of like skeptical about everything. So it's kind of nice that there's a little bit of that like uniformity now. That's like you're seeing results. It's cool.
Let's go. I miss like to the early days of what was going on. We'll say like people were thinking that, but then they just were hesitant.
Yeah, I think they were just like we were talking about forming a DAO and everything, and then I think everybody was just too technical about everything and just saying like we're not gonna do anything until we have lawyers and like all this other like it's just like too much of that like
DAO
distrust.
I think a DAO is complicated. Because whereas this is just, it's a group, there's no reason. But anyway,
so for me, like a DAO, I would like to say more like the concept of a DAO, of people just like coming together and deciding on doing something. Like like I said that before, the exact same thing, and everyone's like, no, a DAO is like blah blah blah, and I was like, I get it, but it's still like a made up concept that like was most recently done, so no one really knows the technical thing of it because it's not a legal entity yet, right? So I see it more as like a group of people deciding to have an agenda, and we vote on stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's like for me. Yeah, that's just where we get into tricky parts, because when we say DAO, I'm in a DAO, and there's people that are in the VDAO. They ran into legal issues. Some of them are accredited investors, and when it gets into that, I'm like, they have to protect their assets, and so the aspect of the DAO and putting money into what we call a DAO starts to get into like muddy water, and that was why I was like, well, let's just like then people started saying, let's get to know each other first and build trust, because I believe we'll have a DAO eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Do you think like if we don't have a DAO that's like financially, like is it like just say the same concept of a DAO, right, but without the money, right? Or even if it's the money, it's just something very small and we can put it in.
My understanding is a DAO is inherently, because it's in the blockchain and it might have a token that is used for an exchange and also used for voting privileges, is inherently muddy water and touches on.
Because if you let's say you create a DAO without putting money into it, but keep the voting right, you know what I mean, like a free like an airdrop of the DAO of the members, or even if like you buy into it,
you could never sell the token, right? As soon as you have an NFT that's available on on any blockchain to sell for a monetary value, you're entering the financial space. So I don't know.
Well, let's keep it simple before we start complicating stuff. The fact that to be a part of this group, you need to own a hawk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So okay, let's say you want to start the DAO, then are the hawks automatically going to be gifted entry to it? Like, because I feel it's strange that, hold on, can a non-hawk have access to a hawk DAO? Yeah. Like, because if they're separated tokens, whereas I feel this group, this community, like whatever structure we want to create, it's already has a structure by being a hawk owner. You have to be on the Discord, and the Discord already sets up that you can only access that Discord once you have the hawk in your wallet. So it's that structure where only hawks can participate is already in place right here. This is what we're doing. And do we need such rules. Like I feel like I would get ahead of.
No, yeah,
something
we don't.
as well.
But what I'm trying to say more of is like I like the concept of having kind of like a board of people. Just because I think with the Hawks, not everyone participates. So we just have a group of people. It's almost like, let's say, a board of directors, and then we kind of have objectives and we just vote on those objectives, and everybody has an equal vote. That I keep on saying that like now, but I don't actually mean it. I just mean of like, you know, a group of people with the same objective, and then we decide what that objective is.
So this is when I think back to. So I'm trying to use as many lessons as I can in life. I'm 51, and when I worked at Tell Me Networks in 19.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't look.
You're really 51? Really?
I just got Botox.
like-
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna follow.
No, but you,
Okay.
I legit thought you were only like a couple years older than me.
I used to get ID'd for rated R movies when I was like 25. So
Wow.
yeah, finally payback.
I'm 40. I'm like, oh, she's like 37, 30. She's like, yeah, not much. Okay,
No.
no, you're looking good. Good job.
Thanks. But so when I worked at Tell Me Networks, Mike McHugh, like the people that started Uber worked there, the people that started Airbnb, like there was a magical group of people that I'm very blessed to have been a part of. But like when I first started working there, the CEO, like Sequoia Capital, all these major like VC firms were there, and they would always just say, if you want to be a part of us growing the team, this happened for like a year. Come to the board meeting. There were no votes. They had one angel investor. Early VC, like the VCs used to come into and talk to us, but like it was very much this like, just get the work done and be a part of the family and help it grow organically. This is just reminding me of that period of time when people would say, well, I would say like, well, I'm not C staff, or I'm not a founder. And they're like, we don't care. Come, whoever wants to help like build the barn, come, just let's get it built. And so I kind of feel like we're in that space right now, where the voting, like what we just saw, you got the overlap of the meeting from Benny, like he just literally got off the phone, made a $4,000 deposit. We're making the party happen. Like it's naturally happening. And I think it's not going to suss itself out for like a year personally, like any kind of voting mechanic, even if there is one, because we're decentralized, right? And you're right. We are already a DAO of sorts. Like we're the Hawks. Like there was a high cost of entry to get here.
Yeah. I think I've paid the most recent highest.
Probably you're the highest one.
What did you buy for?
23. Which is fucking
What are you
ridiculous.
hoping? Well, actually, I didn't really hear because I missed the call with you in it on Tuesday. What are you like hoping the most to get out of it? Because you're doing real estate now. Is that like kind of you're transitioning to a new career or?
Yeah, so no, it's been like a few years, but I was in IT for, so it's not that. So I've got, I don't have any questions about what to do. I know, like I've listened to enough of his stuff. Anything I know that the operational, the strategic. Any question is like, what should I do? If make content is the answer, then it's the wrong question, right? Because that's it. And so I get it. So my thing is, I know I need to make content. I want to kind of, for me, it's a bit of a mastermind and an accountability group. I know what needs to be done. I'm in that position where I'm successful enough that I can become complacent. I have enough income, enough money, doing well enough that there's still like, upper middle class. I got 3 kids, I own a house in Togo. I'm like, there's a mortgage, right? I'm a real estate agent. So I got, 3 kids, and I can travel sort of twice a year and whatnot. I can, go and do these things. But so I don't have to be accountable to anyone, like just to myself, but like, because there's enough. Like I've got enough, but I know I need to push myself more, be more. So, and it's hard to be like accountable because like even people say for personal trainer, okay, if you want to work out, get a personal trainer and then you'll be accountable, because if you book in the sessions, you'll go. But the cost of that is if I cancel, it's only a cancellation fee. I can lose that $80, $100. It's like, well, that's not accountability enough. When I can lose that, there's enough I've got enough financial wealth that I can still not be accountable, even if there's financial loss. Whereas I think if in the group, like my idea is really just, I want to like on the call, say, like just kind of commit in public, like to Gary V, and not just in a one-time kind of, ask Gary V or one email sort of thing. Man, you've helped me, I'm going to do it. It's like if I'm on the call every, 4 times a year with him and to this group, and I say, look, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it by the next call. I'm going to do it by the next thing. I'm going to start making content, because right now I make no content. I'm not on social, like I don't post anything. So look, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start making stuff, and by next time you're going to see me I'm going to have videos out the next time we meet. And even if there's no question or whatnot, I feel because I've followed him for so long, now it's not financial, it's more like just embarrassment or shame that I'm putting myself in a position. If I don't execute, I've committed to him, and I know when the next session, there's a deadline for the next like Hawk hangout, and whether he calls on me or not, I know, you know, you guys as well, I'm gonna ask it to everyone, like I better have done something between now and then. So for me, it's a bit to hold myself accountable to a degree. And I felt if I had any other token, it wouldn't be that. But now to a group and to Gary in particular, that's like, I can't just be embarrassing. Oh yeah, I know. Because you can ask one question and then like at a conference and then never talk to him again. It's easy. But if I'm going to be there every call and I paid, you know, 23 ETH to be on every call, I need to hold myself accountable. And I felt that's what I need. So yes, that's why.
Yeah, I can really, I feel the same way where it's just like, I don't know, like I hit that age, I'm like 33 now, and everybody around me just working and all stressed out. But then, you know, I just got so lucky with like everything that's happened in the last 2 years that I feel like, and everything. So like, I actually got into NFTs by accident. I got laid off in the end of 2020. And that year, like when the COVID first started, you know, I saw so many financial crises. I just literally went all in on stocks, and then I ended up making like $100 and something thousand in that year. Then I got laid off, and I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then I was helping a family member with her business that was struggling because of COVID, and I joined like a CNBC small business thing, and I saw Gary on it talking about his NFT project. And I knew it was blowing up, but then this was the only thing he talked about that had utility, because that's what made sense to me, right? It's something that you couldn't have to redeem for something else. Yeah. So when I was like, he's the only person doing it, and I barely knew who he was. So then, like, you know, I had 4 Ethereum at the time from just like mining crypto in the past, and I was like, all right, cash this out. So like actually what happened was I ended up buying, I went up buying a commercial property in Queens. That it was like super cheap, and I just decided to do it because I wanted to start a business there, and I was either going to sell that Ethereum to pay for the down payment some more, or you know, just take a chance on this like VeeFriends thing. And then like literally I bought 2 cores and a Hawk, and just seeing like them going up, I was like, oh my god, it's like 4 Ethereum, this is crazy. It's like, and it goes like 8, 10, 16, 18. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And then like, you know, I just sold one of them now. I just have a Hawk and another core. And yeah, like I'm in this place where like money doesn't matter to me as much, and I want to kind of like do something meaningful and try to get like, you know, people around me to start doing something like meaningful too, versus just like being stuck in this kind of like horrible 9-to-5 job where like they're always stressed out, they're just always going out to drink and stuff to kind of drink away their problems. But it's so hard because like it's almost like it's the Matrix. Like I'm the only one that sees it, you know, like I'm like, you know, everybody else is stuck in that thing. And so I've been trying to create this like kind of entrepreneurial community center where like each room has like a different theme and has like different resources for people that want to try it out, whatever their idea is, like give them the resources to try it out, and they can host events there. But yeah, like I've been struggling so much in the like, you know, last 6 months to a year, in that I did all this stuff, right? Like all the rooms are ready almost, but I don't even have the confidence to go like hire someone or even talk about it. And like I'm literally just stuck in my own head most of the time. And like you said, that accountability thing where I feel like I have no one holding me accountable. And like I'm just like finding random people to hold me accountable, and it kind of sucks in that like I was hoping my family would hold me accountable, and everybody would like be invested in me and like, you know, help me make this into a thing that like they can be like, I can make them a part of it, you know. But yeah, that's like kind of my struggle now, where, you know, I need to figure out how to go from this kind of middle class working man, like, you know, I had a job, I thought that was gonna be my life, and now I just got kicked out of it. So like it's one of these things where like I've never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I never thought I would have so much like, you know, kind of resources, you know, at my disposal. and like I don't even know what to do with it, and it's kind of scary and it's exciting, but then the highs are really high, but the lows are just like, man, it's just like some days
The
it's
extremes
like,
are extreme.
Get a job. Yeah.
Well, is that your commercial property? You finally got it, and that's the one you're trying to convert to like an incubator.
So it's pretty much
hub?
it's there. Like I made it, you know. So like one of the rooms like a computer room, one is like more of like a meeting room. There's like one for like entertainment and board games and stuff. There's one for like health and wellness. There's like a little workshop with like 3D printers. Like I literally have everything there, but I think right now I have to hire a marketer and hire a salesperson. And I'm also getting married in 2 months. So like it's all these things like, at once, like that, like oh man, it's so hard to.
Yeah. Okay, no, but okay, congrats on that and the space.
Yeah, thank you.
I discussed, so I have a house like in Shibuya, like my first house before I bought this, and it was using for Airbnb and whatnot, but now because it's closed down, like Airbnb, so there's no inbound tourism. I basically had this house that was vacant, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to just do regular Japanese rental. I want to let me think making it as a hub, and creatives and entrepreneurs incubator hub, because I want to kind of be involved in the network and the group. But after researching it and speaking with some other people, like in Tokyo, like foreigners in Tokyo who have done similar stuff, I'm like, you know, it probably requires too much involvement from me to focus on. More than I can give when I've got 3 kids, they're 8, 6, and 4, and to take away that much time from them to start up a new sort of just networking elsewhere is like, I can't justify that, especially when I've also got my main job. Like, I don't think that's going to be the main income earner. I need significantly more, so the real estate is still the main one. So I'm like, you know what? Let's not do these little side pet projects. I don't have the capacity for it. I'm going to put it regular Japanese rental, and so I won't ever have to deal with it, and focus on building up my real estate. Because like, you know, real estate, we get like sales for real estate is like 3%, and in Tokyo most of my deals are between like $500,000 to $2 million, and it's 3% commission, right? And of course that goes mostly to the agency and whatnot, but the deals are much larger than what kind of you can get elsewhere. It's like I like you know, Gary's garage sailing and stuff, like flipping and creating new stuff, and it's really exciting for me. But I also need to balance out, like it's not just the excitement of a flip and making a bit of a profit, it's the net dollar needs to be significant, because I have a family to care for. And then even now with COVID hit, like the whole household, I'm in a position where I'm blessed, and I'm not in a struggle, right? I don't have to worry about anything. So I really was in exactly your mindset, like just 3 months ago, about getting the exact same thing. So that's why I'm really in tune with sort of what you're saying. But yeah, I kind of gave up on it. Whereas I guess in your case, if you don't have kids, you know, getting married is fantastic, but you guys are still a lot more agile than when you got three little kids. But yeah, I think you make it happen. And the fact that you got the building, like you bought it or you're renting it?
I bought it.
Right?
So like I still have like 160,000 I need to pay off, but it's being mortgaged. But it's tricky because like I can't get a mortgage, a business property mortgage from banks unless I have 2 years of income from my business. So it's a mortgage with the previous owner. And in 2 years, I have to pay him the difference. And right now I'm just giving him like really big, like a jumbo payment. So it's like pretty much like half interest and half principal that I'm paying right now.
You gotta start making something happen. You got a 2 year time.
It's really hard because like I also had like, there was a hurricane here back in September, and it wrecked the place. And I was like freaking out. It's like, literally like when my ceilings were collapsed and like everything got destroyed. Like I had a bunch of computers that I bought got destroyed. So then I was freaking out, but then luckily I had insurance. Even though it wasn't flood insurance, there's like a bunch of loopholes that I got, and ended up like, you know, being able to renovate the place fully. So then like I'm back again, like
beautiful,
you know, like everything's great, but then I think like it's just like that's, I don't know, like I've never put myself out there before, like I don't put myself on social media, all that stuff. So then it's just such a struggle of like not being seen, and all of a sudden you try to like have people see you, and it's just like it's scary, right? Because like, you know, rejection is the scariest thing. I think
reach out,
and, like, it's just something I have to work on.
Yeah. So if you've never ventured into this thing, because again, I was in your position like 3 months ago. Like I had this similar thing. Reach out to other co-working spaces, people that have found them, that have done them, because it's going to be like a co-working space, to like a large part of that. Like there's the actual operation of it is going to be sort of similar, because co-working spaces also do events and entrepreneur type stuff in different corners and things. My suggestion, just to get really big sort of mentoring on it, on what needs to be done, and people with practical experiences, reach out to people that started co-working spaces or entrepreneurial hubs in York. I'm sure they're everywhere.
I just
explain
like that. I need to start networking, because I think I struggle with that, where like I'm a pretty introverted person. And I recently found out I had ADD, so then like, you know, it's like a lot of stuff makes a lot of sense now. And so like I'm gonna try to network a little more and then just get people involved, especially like I'm in New York, right? Like this shouldn't be that much of a problem, but then it's just really hard to, I guess, like talk about it. And then like sometimes like with ADD brain, it's like everything's jumbled in my head, so like when it comes out, it's just like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I'm not sure, you know, like all this stuff that like comes out of
you've been really like, yeah, I haven't gotten that vibe at all. Like for me, you've been very, very coherent and on point, like this entire discussion. But yeah, like when I did the networking, I think again, just going to networking events and meeting people and trying to figure out how you can help them, how they can help you is one thing. But I think just, you know, like what I was doing actually was I was just going to these places that I knew the hubs, and some, I'm sure you know heaps of venues that exist, their names, and you've visited them, maybe you've seen them. But if you just go there and say, look, you know, I'm starting one in Queens, I've got an idea, I've got the building, and the fact that you've got a building and you've got a venue and show some photos, like you're leaps ahead of any other just someone with an idea that doesn't have any cash invested in it. You say, look, I just want to speak with, you know, your owner, just want to have a discussion, pick their brain. Because I guarantee you, anyone else who's sort of started that business, such a kind of hub, it wants to help other people. It's not straight up financial, and they're not in competition with you. The more they help the community, the more they help them. And that's the kind of people that you'll be working with that are in this space, I feel. And that's what I got. So I was reaching out to people that had already established community centers, people that had already started business hubs and on incubators and stuff in Tokyo, and saying, hey, you know, my name's Emil. I've got this idea. I've got a house in Shibuya. I'm considering converting it to this, to Japanese rental. But I'm thinking that, can I just get on a Zoom with you to discuss, you know, your experience and what I should do to move forward, and any ideas you have. And then if they've done it, they're excited to talk about it. They're excited to talk about the thing. So they will gladly jump on a call with you and tell you exactly their whole startup experience, how they built a community, what worked, what didn't, what kind of pricing worked, what didn't. That's like, you don't need to network. You know the network, you know the people. You just need to contact them. And I reckon the type of space it is, it's not competitive, it's supportive. And you'll get people, like everyone will just be jumping on, say, yeah, come down, let's have a coffee, let's have a chat, and pick your brain. So I think that's the approach. That's what I did, and it made me realize it's probably not for me, because I was at the stage where I didn't have to do it, and my place is not located. I don't have the capacity for it. I think you, on the other hand, no, yeah, definitely do it. And New York. Thank you,
really appreciate the advice. Actually, I want to ask you, like, how does American buy property in Japan? Because I feel like I want to eventually do that. Like even like a summer home.
Cash. It's cash.
Okay. But can I legally buy it? Can I legally buy it?
Yeah. So Japan is, I think, one of the few countries in Asia where there's no restrictions. So really? Like other countries need to have permanent residency, or you can only do like a 99-year lease or something. No, a foreign entity, non-resident at all, can 100% own land and property in Japan. And like we can do all the paperwork for it. Like we can get like the lawyers and scriveners can do all the notarization and what have you. You just can't get a bank loan. You can't.
How much is like a apartment, like a small apartment?
Roughly. Well, it depends in Tokyo, because you can get places for like the $10,000 and $20,000, you know, under $100,000. Really? But yeah, but they're small, like one-room studio apartments. Like,
no, I'm okay with that. I want some place to stay, because like sometimes, like when you even Airbnb, like it's so expensive, you know, like in Japan. Yeah. And it's like the hotels are like kind of small.
Like if you wanted a tiny little place, like the problem is you can't Airbnb it out when you're not here. They changed the regulation. I used to have 12 Airbnb properties at the peak before they regulated it. Now I've got 6. They regulated it, and now like my other house that was on Airbnb, and I've got 3 that I'm converting to regular rental because Airbnb is dying, and they're houses. If you have it in a building, in an apartment, the body corporate won't let, like the HOA, the homeowners association, won't allow you to do it. And in order to do Airbnb, or they call it minpaku, like short-term stays, in order to register and be regulated and get the short-term stay license, in order to even register on Airbnb site, the registration process with the city hall requires the HOA rules to specifically say that short-term stay is permitted. And any of these properties not going to do that. You could possibly find one that's commercial, but any place that you want to live in Tokyo, that like, you know, a 30 square meter little studio, 20 square meter studio in Tokyo in a hot spot is going to be, you know, $400,000, $300,000 for 20 square meters, 30 square meters. What's that? Like 300 square feet, 200 square feet? Like basically the size of this room.
Tokyo.
Not even, yeah, in Tokyo. Like, and that's what, like my house that I'm putting up for rent, like it's, you know, you say you bought your place and it's in Queens, and I don't know how big it is, but the fact that you have different spaces, my place is 80 square meters, my house, that's like 800, what's it called? Like per square meter, was that 3 square, let's say a square meter, like 10 square feet, roughly. I think 10, yeah. 1 square meter is about 10 square feet, 9 square feet. So per 10 square feet, it's about a decent apartment or property in Tokyo is say $5,000 to $8,000 per 10 square feet. No, 50. Yeah, 50. Go 10,000. Yeah, so about $5,000 to $10,000 per 10 square feet. So 80 square feet is about $800,000. It's hard to make hubs and stuff like that. We say you were able to just buy a building. I'm like, oh fuck, like
I didn't actually buy a building. It's 2,700 square feet. It's a commercial basement, so it's just like the whole building. It's a apartment complex, but then certain units you're allowed to do commercial stuff in it. It used to be like a tutoring center, but it's like 6 commercial condos, and each of them are like between 350 to 500 square feet. So that's why like each of them is like it's individual rooms.
Yours 2,700 square feet, yeah?
Yeah. But it's 6 like units, so then you divide that out. It's like they're roughly like, you know, between 350 to 500 square feet.
Oh yeah, but you own the whole 2,700 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250 square meters. Yeah, that's if you want, like, that's, you know, $2-3 million for that space. Not a building. That's just an apartment. An apartment. If you want that amount of space, or even
no, I don't need that much. Like literally, because I like going to Japan so much that like I would want to maybe like just like visit a lot. I'm just so shocked that like they don't export that much stuff. Like, you know, like the milk ice cream in Japan. Yeah, it makes no sense why it's not all over the world, because that stuff is delicious, and like I don't know how they make it, but like whenever I go there, I just eat like tubs. Like it's just so good. I see it and I'll eat it, and then like I don't know why there's no milk ice cream like anywhere else, right? It's one of those things where like, why doesn't it exist in America?
I'm gonna say
it to me and I'll sell it for like so much money.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, in terms of the property, like you can buy an apartment. I know you don't need that much space. I'm talking like the fact that you're able to get a space in like 2,500 square feet, 2,700 square feet in Queens. You said that for $150,000, $160,000, right? Well,
no. That's how much I owe. The total was like $660.
$600,000.
660. So like I ended up, I put in 300 and my father-in-law put in 200. So the 160 is the leftover. Okay. Oh, so you own a lot of it. Mortgaging. Wow. Yeah, it's not that little. Like I wish it was that much, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, wow, that's too cheap.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And the price I paid was what the guy paid for in 2014. So he had like no appreciation for, like, I literally have like 8 years of appreciation that like he didn't like calculate into that. So like literally on the record it shows like the price he paid in 2014 is the price I paid in 2021, which is like insane. That's why I just had to do it. Like, and I didn't think it was possible too, because I didn't have the money, right? And then like, you know, I was able to convince my father-in-law to do it, because like my family were like, you're crazy, we're not gonna do this, we're not, like, you know, because I asked if like they wanted to come together and just like, let's buy this place. But like, yeah, it's just been a crazy, like, I don't know, 2 years. My life doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, no, okay, no, but good stuff. But you know, just before we change, we've got someone else jump on as well. I'm going to say, in terms of buying a small property in Tokyo, now that you're getting married and if you're considering kids or whatnot, every trip you're going to have once you get married and have a kid, and then a second kid maybe, every trip like that property that you get is not going to be sufficient. And so that's why I actually like the idea of Airbnb, and I don't like the idea of buying holiday properties. Because you're committed to always going to the same place, time and time again. You don't have any flexibility, and maybe it was good when you're younger, but when your life starts changing, like before kids, that studio is fine. Once you have a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, you need an extra room, another room. And is the frequency of travel going to be the same? And with the kids, I don't know, does it make sense to go to Tokyo once or twice a year on your family trip? That's all you go to, because kids aren't going to love it as much as, you know, as much as single Wilson, right? So I feel your cash is probably better spent. Imagine spending that 100 grand instead of buying a little place.
I thought you said like 20
just
grand.
holiday.
If it's like 20 grand, no.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Honestly, it's like a pipe dream. Honestly, it's literally a pipe dream. It's not like something I'm seriously considering.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Japan is literally, I don't know, like I can't say enough good things about it.
It's the fucking best. That's why I came here on a 6-month holiday. I've been here for 20 years.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I get the legend in.
Legend's here. Hey, Legend, we're still going. You want to say hi? Have you met Emil? Have you met Legend? You guys did too, right?
Well, we chatted. So I'm Emil Japan, or Mel in Japan, until I changed my name because I realized I need to use at least a real name. We did chat on Discord a bit. And I did see one of his YouTube videos early on. Nice. when I was looking at this. He's got a great video during the initial mint for VeeFriends, and he basically just goes through and goes, "Oh, look, these are the prices. Look, he's popping in. Okay, this is just going in. This is the start price. This is the current. This is the low price." And he's going through basically the entire VeeFriends site sale during the mint, saying this is what they've got, and these are the prices, the start price and the floor price, etc. So I was looking at that going, oh, okay, this is what I missed out on. Stupid me.
But so he said he can't talk, so he's chatting, but I was going to say, you were talking about making content, and I just watched Alex Stimplowski's video. He's the guy who's a hawk that has, I think, 18 million followers now on TikTok. And he got like 1 million followers on YouTube, I think, in a week, because he's like got it dialed in, this system.
Wow.
But he has a video that I watched, and as you're talking about Japan and Airbnb, like that, like I talk to my friends about buying real estate and doing Airbnbs. It's, I think, a really like the future of society, more and more being nomads and owning like the real estate that goes around the globe. I don't know. I'm just going to post the link here because it's from last summer. I think, Wilson, you were at that meeting, right? That's the link in Discord. Ooh, maybe that doesn't work from here, but
oh no, the link's popped up. I've gone to where.
Okay.
Welcome to VeeFriends. Welcome to VeeFriends.
It takes you. I don't know if you. How do I do that from Discord to here? Weird. Does it link you to the right spot in Discord?
It took me to the desktop, but the VeeFriends. Welcome to VeeFriends. Is the beginning of the server. Did you invite me to VeeFriends?
No, I just copied the link inside Discord.
Inside. Okay.
I'm just gonna post it in Discord again.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Doug typing. So.
Yeah, because it's already in there.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really good, actually. Like.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Zoom recording. Here's the link to the PowerPoint. Alexander the Great.
Yeah, so he in that video.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes through and shows some videos, and like I actually after watching that changed. So on TikTok, I just started posting like 3 or 4 times a day. This was like, I don't know, the beginning of the year. And I got to 10,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell?
Wow, really?
What am I doing?
So what was that? I missed that. You got.
So I started posting. I was just like, just post shit. I was like, just post. Yeah, be authentic. I'm like, I was just doing weird, random stuff just to get the numbers. And then I got to 10,000 followers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is.
And how long?
He's not kidding around. It took like a month, maybe.
10,000.
So then I started. Then I'm like, okay, study it. Don't like take emotion out of it. Study which ones are doing better than others. And so usually, like, I've noticed that my posts will get like the max out of like 200, right? So I watched that video from Alex, and the one that I posted using so 200 within like a week or two. The one that I posted last night I worked till 2 in the morning last night. It now has almost 500. And then one I posted this morning is already almost, well, it's 150. Usually it takes a few days to get there. So I'm like, whatever, I just made it a little tighter, like the intro faster and the art, the narrative art.
Oh, that, like the real, yeah.
So like that video, like somehow Alex has it dialed in. So I might even watch it again and again and again.
Wow,
because,
okay, thank you.
And he like, post whatever you want, like post what is you, like authentically you. Like I love working, so I'm like, I don't have to like post like, yeah, just post what is your authentic self, you know?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate in that my clients look like me. My niche market is foreigners, long-term residents in Japan looking to buy a house. In Japan, the house financing, like home loans, we can get 100, like it's basically zero money down. So if it's $1 million property and like say $50,000, 5% closing costs, $1,050,000, the banks will give you $1,050,000. And so they pay for 100% of it. And the interest rate is like 0.45%.
Wow.
Right. It's like, it's free money. It's ridiculous. It's as good as you can imagine, right? But it's only for home loans, not for investments. So as long as it's your personal home and you have stable employment, then you can get ridiculous money. So money is cheap as fuck. Because, you know, you hear about Japan interest rates being low. So it's so easy to sell. So it's so easy to make the purchase, right? But the only problem is, and most foreigners, like, because we come from a place where interest rate is high, you need 20% deposit or 40% deposit, we realize it's too good an opportunity, right, to not make the most of. But they don't have the language issue. It's a complex, convoluted process to make the purchase. And so it's all Japanese, so it's very, very complicated. And because I've done it myself and that's what I do, I'm a bridge between that. But so all my clients are usually, it's foreign men with a Japanese spouse or a foreign spouse. Because if it were a Japanese husband, they'll go through a Japanese route. But usually because the logistics aspect, the wife chooses the house, but the husband is the one who does all the financing and logistics and coordinating with the agent, right? What's more common. So it's a foreign, like usually foreign husband, and it's always families, rarely singles, because it's people that are deciding to buy. Now's the right time to buy a property in Japan is when they're having a family. So I've got 3 little kids. So I'm like usually 5 to 10 years ahead of most of my clients. They're mid-30s, usually foreign males. I'm 40, so like they basically look like me, right? All my clients look like me in terms of physically, maybe not this good, but and family and the family structure as well. I can give them lots of advice on what it's like just being a dad, being a parent in Tokyo, the struggles with education and bilingual, sort of raising kids bilingually, all that sort of stuff. So almost everything I do, even just playing with the kids, doing our sports activities and stuff like that, is relevant to my client base. The financial situation, everyone is like, they're looking at places between $500,000 to $2 million, right? Like, because that's what the kind of budget that you need. They're all permanent employees, ready to settle. So I think any aspect of my life is in Tokyo. My family or personal or health and wellness really matches my demographic of who my client is. And also with houses, I have access. It's similar to MLS. I can go to any house. I have access to any, because I work exclusively for buyer side. So I can access any seller's property and take videos freely. I can schedule 10 appointments in one day, and they just leave. I don't have to be there with the seller agent. I just give me the key. So I can go to 10 properties with a video crew and just do in one afternoon 5 to 10 recordings of properties that can chop up. So I've got no excuse to not make content. I get that. And that's why, like, if I ask that question, it'll be embarrassing because I know exactly what I need to do. I just need to do it. And that's what I need.
That's kind of where I was too. So like, I come from the film industry, and it's like, it's still like, I'm still balancing this, like, just like hack quality versus like full quality, right? Like shooting with lighting and makeup and like all of that versus just like a phone where I'm like, wow, I just woke up. It's so different. But I'm like watching videos and watching what people are doing, and like the voice of media up until this point has been a lot farther away from authenticity. And there's a huge movement right now with media, and I think the generational and global pull of what the changes are happening to authenticity. So you could literally just show yourself like here I am and there's the crew. Like, you don't even have to show the footage that you're filming. It's more about execution, and really the algorithm in TikTok, because and this is what I'm talking to myself right now, but TikTok right now, we have 1 or 2 years left to get to 1 million followers or more easily. After that, people, it's going to become Instagram again, right? And it's been in my brain lately is attention is currency. Attention is currency. Like, even if I know I want to build this like AI platform using voice assistants, which is my background, for multicultural entertainment education. That's what I'm studying in school. But I can't I do some stuff, like I'm doing homework, blah, blah, blah. But like, I can't, that portion of like the content production is so far away from like this whole TikTok madness. But if I could get to 1 million followers, then I can pivot, right? Attention is, I'm just really like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, much less than that.
Yeah, like if you get the attention, if I just do videos only on like being wacky, if that's what people like, being wacky, and making jokes and like working hard and just hustling, like if I get followers from that, then cool. And talking about NFT, and like Gary said something yesterday where he said, I didn't invent NFTs. I'm not going to, but I saw them coming. So I started talking about it. Now I have leverage. Now I'm an expert in it. So I have leverage. It's really just seeing the attention as the currency, and the voice you have, and using it as your authentic self. Like the fact that you're like, your customers aren't all like mostly Japanese. Like I have a brother who went on a Mormon mission, went to Japan. He goes there.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, he goes there 4 times a year. He speaks fluent Japanese. Like, I think multiple. I think he was in Osaka, but he speaks. There's a few different dialects that are there.
Yeah. Just like the slang. It's different.
Yeah. So like, there's an audience like for specifically that, like the authenticity of like the small little like tricks that we each have, and the weird things that we do are like exactly what TikTok wants. It fuels off of that, and then you can branch out to like really awesome, like, I don't know, more like produced content. Anyway, that's where I'm.
Yeah, like you said at the start, this is like you're speaking to yourself and myself. I'm like, that pep talk was to myself. I know it. I know exactly.
That's why I'm like, I never say anything, because I'm like, I already know, like I need 64 pieces of content a day. It's like, I already know. Like, are you on TikTok? And I listen to the videos or the podcasts. Are you on TikTok? I'm like, he's asking him, what would Gary say? What would Gary say? He would say, make the videos.
Yeah. So I got to start just doing that once COVID's over.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
What is your like reason for not? Because like, is it just like the self-consciousness, or is it just like kind of effort?
It's combined of, I want it to be a bit perfect or better than just raw, but also I feel I need to have more infrastructure, because like, not when I say infrastructure, I mean right now, like I work for an agency, but all my clients come because of me. They don't even know the company's name, the agency's name, until we come to sign the contract, right? Whereas everyone else, it's the agency does all the web promotion and stuff, and the people go sign up, like inquire to the agency, and the agency will just assign a salesperson. I do that myself, and so I'm trying to. I want to be the person for basically. I want to be the foreign, like the real estate guy in Tokyo for foreigners, right? So, and I actually bought, like, so I want it to be a bit more perfect, the execution of it to be a bit more perfect. But then it's also just, again, that complacency. It's like, do I need to do that right now when I'm actually all right. I'm getting lots of clients already. I get lots of word of mouth. I'm actually pretty busy. And it's kind of an excuse. Do I need to start doing more? Do I need to start generating more clients? Because I'm actually I'm pretty full with clients and pretty full with viewing. So I feel like I need to get more, sort of start hiring some staff, at least 1 or 2 people to help, or the brokerage I work with, sort of give them a bit more commission, or like allow them to get a bit more of the split by engaging more staff, because I think that's how I can sort of scale without taking on management responsibility myself. So there's a bunch of stuff, but because I said at the start, I'm making enough and I'm getting enough that I'm at that complacency portion. It's like, I don't need more clients. I don't need more money. Like I can be fine, but I know it's like long term, it's not it. And I feel it's wasted. And every year is sort of wasted. It's been 10 years I've been listening to Gary Vee, and I haven't actually done sort of content so much. Like I wish it wasn't so easy to get clients. I wish I had to work harder for it, but I don't. And so the money comes in, it's like touch wood. It's a bit too easy for me to have to be driven to do this extra, achieve this extra, like drive extra demand. But I know I want to do it. I need to do it. I've always thought that's the place I should be at. So that's why I need this accountability just to do it. Like I bought the domain name ridiculous. Like I own realestate.jp.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
That's a big name.
That's like
I'm
it's
just
massive.
It's ruling over like, so part of my research is foreigners in foreign lands, right? Like I'm working with this global education initiative here at the U, and there's a guy from Chile who there's big translation problems, right? Like intended meaning just from language and culture between cultures. Like I'm just thinking about Anthony Bourdain right now, like just his perspective in a foreign country. Like you could just post literal videos of like cool architecture in Japan.
Like literally food is such a big thing.
Just to say like, you're not like, you're a foreigner, and that just the like street style, that would be
it's so easy. I mean, like I've got 3 kids. Like just the fact that my kids are at the local soccer club. Like I mean, the people I know, like all my clients end up being like my friends, because when you go viewing 20 houses over a 6-month period to look for properties with people and their families and driving around every other weekend, you become really close with them and their wife. And because like I said, they're people between 35 to 45, exactly, with a young family, or they just got married, and I'm like a little semi-mentor in terms of being a dad, right? Because I'm sort of at the other end of the extreme, 3 young kids. And so we end up sort of being good friends as well. So just my ordinary life, I don't need to try to take like my ordinary life of my kids doing sports clubs and different clubs. And now that we got COVID, this is something that's really exactly my clients were locals in Tokyo within like 10 kilometers of me, right? Exactly my clients. So I think my day-to-day life has enough real content, applicable content. I go snowboarding or snow to the kids' ski camp and shit like that. That's very relevant. And then the house, I'm already doing viewings. I do viewings every weekend. All I need to do is have a camera recording me in the house. And they range from small apartments to like, multi-million-dollar places with great views of Tokyo and of the Bay or of Tokyo Tower. So I don't need to just go down the street and try to find some interesting architecture. I'm in exactly the real estate space for my work already, doing viewings.
You're gonna kick ass on TikTok, man. It's gonna.
Yeah, I know it, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of. I'm like, before I do that, before I try to get more clients, I need to start getting some more support staff. But what's the right balance? Should I get like my website has been like, there is no website. It just goes to GoDaddy, right? The realestate.jp. At least like I just think that's why I'm impressed. You put a website together. I've had it for a decade.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I do. But I don't like. So I stopped thinking about like making the TikTok link to my site. I'm like, I'm just gonna only focus on TikTok, and I stopped posting on Instagram. I had done some other things. I'm like, it's not that the whole matrix of it all is the opportunity. It's literally that TikTok's the opportunity. You can just stay on TikTok, and now that I've got that many followers, I'm in their business. I like signed up to get sponsors. Like there's more than enough to just stay in TikTok for like, give yourself a couple months. Like just do TikTok. Don't worry about link, because you don't need real estate gigs, right? So just like that's what I did. I'm like, holy shit! Oh my gosh!
Just get some followers.
You could probably just get a team like someone that's like 18, 19, 20 that like, just like hire them as an assistant and help you do it too, just because they're experts at it also.
Yeah.
Do it for like
you have the resources,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I know what needs to be done. I've got like 2 business master's degrees, right? Like I understand that I know what needs to be done, but it's just that I don't have the accountability, I have that complacency that I've got, which is why I bought into this. So I know the technical approach, I know the operational approach. I just need to pull my finger out of my ass and get it done. And that's why I'm in this group, because I want to announce that to the team and to Gary on the call, say, I don't have a question for you, but I got a commitment to you by next call. I'm going to have at least a TikTok account with videos being done. And I know once I do the first set of videos, then the rest is going to be easy. Like the last client I got, who I bought, he's a YouTuber. Like he and his wife, like his wife works for a Japanese company, but he's a YouTuber, and he does YouTube about travel videos around Japan. And they're a really great couple. He's like 30 years old. And they're like, Amelia, you should make YouTube videos. You're so helpful for us, and you should make videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, I want to, I just haven't pulled my finger out yet. And look, they have all the cameras set up. They have everything, right? Like they make a few $100,000, like so a few $1,000s a month from YouTube alone. Like as a husband side thing. That just travel videos in Japan. And like, look, if you want, like, why don't we just go out? Like, because I've shown them like 30 houses, right? When we do the viewings, why don't we just get some and we'll record you? So I got even a proper video guy who's offering to come out with me and do free recording. I've got no reason to not do it. Like it's there. So I think, and once I get the content, I mean, hours of viewings, I can chop it up to so much stuff. I get that. Just kitchens only, or just nice houses only, or living rooms, or bedrooms only. Like there's so much that can be done once you have, an hour of footage or 2 hours of footage of 5 different properties. I know that, I get that. It just, I gotta hold myself more accountable.
It's okay. Like I'm being a hypocrite because I'm exactly the same. Because like I have, literally I have that website. I bought the domain. It's been sitting idle for 2 years. Like I'm gonna make this website. I'm gonna make this TikTok. I'm gonna do all this. And then like, even like sometimes like, I made a Twitter, posted something, and then like, and I was like, oh man, this is like killing me. Just like put it out there, and it looks so cringy. And then like, you just stop. I'm sorry. Yes. Then you get ready to call me now.
You see the chat? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I
call now, man.
He's been calling me the whole time, and then like I'm trying to like duck him. But like I
here's the question though. Like,
I don't know if I can, and then it's just like, oh man.
But you can't be, I mean, there's two things that I think about with that. Like, it has been a while, Wilson, but you did get you have been doing stuff. You got a diagnosis for ADD, ADHD. You're planning a wedding. But then the question I ask myself, which I always have like 25 projects going on, it's just how I work. And it's okay to let plates fall, but like stop beating myself up for the ones that do. It's like, I'm going to let that go. I have to let it go. So like, if you're not posting, might it mean you don't want to do it? Like not everybody.
I think I actually don't. Like I get a little anxiety of like posting stuff because I kind of want to be hidden. You know what I mean? Like, in case like, someone, you do make it big, right? Like I don't want that kind of attention that like, to like constantly be on me.
A different set of rules. It's a different.
Yeah. So like, I kind of want it to just be like, I want to be inspiration. I don't want to be like the center of attention, that's why I kind of I wanted to make this like kind of, community centered kind of thing where I can elevate other people and not myself, because I'd rather, kind of be the person behind the scenes than the one in front of the camera. And it's just a struggle. I'm looking for the people to be in front of the camera, but like everybody's telling me like, they don't.
But I think one thing you need to remember about your particular, like, space that you're creating, people aren't coming really for you. They're coming for the community and for the space, right? You're not selling yourself. You're promoting the space. So that's it. Like, so in my case, I'm promoting me. People are coming exclusively for me. I am going to be that guy. And that's what I'm doing already. Like we started a podcast and a vlog, which like someone else does. I just joined the weekly Zooms, like similar to this, and he's doing it. And I pay him $50,000, like $500 to be on his like the sponsor. So and I've been getting inquiries from that. So that's my first foray into actually doing it, only because I just have to do it on the Zoom, and he publishes everything on his Japan real estate podcast because he does investment properties. So there's no overlap. There's no competition on that. But yeah, I think in your stuff, like you don't need to worry about you being the man, you being the guy, because your product is not you. It's not your service, it's your facility. And you coordinate the events, but people are going for the good events. They're not going because you're not providing them with a real hookup to make their business successful. They're just coming, like, they're not relying on you. It's like they need the service and the facility. So whether you're the manager or you're not there and someone else manages it, it doesn't matter, because it's the facility, which is the product, and the community and the organization that you can create. It's not you. So even if you're the face of the video, I think, of your particular model, you're the face of you're the one who's talking about it. Of course, it's going to be you because you're the owner. You cannot be there and it's not you. And the facility will still be successful on its own. In my case, that's not it. If it's not me, where are they going to go to? They're not going to go to a different agent. They're not going to go to a different person. There's no point going to the agency I work for because that's not the guy who's on the videos. That's not the guy explaining. That's not the foreign guy with 3 kids who resembles the client. It's some 20-year-old Japanese, new graduate who's just joined real estate and is still living in a 20 square meter 1-room place, trying to sell a $2 million 3-bedroom house to a young family. They can't provide the same thing. So in my case, I'm the guy. In your case, you don't have to worry about being the guy, because you're not pitching it. You're explaining the product. You're explaining what can happen in the venue. You're explaining the events and the community, but it's not you. You don't need to be there. You can sell off that business and you don't need to be there, or you can have a manager, a community manager. You don't need to be there. So I think that there's a difference in it. So you don't need to be too anxious about you having to support it personally, being there for every single person.
Yeah.
In my 2 cents.
Thank you. Yeah. I think like I'm still at the point of like, I need a couple more people to feel confident to like even open up. And I think that's my struggle in like how to find someone that I can trust and, just like rely on. And yeah, I think that's like, again, that's my main struggle of like, how do you find these people? Because like in New York, like right now, there's like a lot of people that are unemployed and don't even want to work. So like, I'm figuring out like, do I, is it money that they want? So like, it's kind of like this like kind of weird thing of I'm trying to perfect the space before I like really put it out there. And I just get stuck in this like, just moving stuff around and like, I think that's where I'm kind of been stuck a little bit at. And like, I also like had another issue with like leaks and floods again. So like I have to do like a little bit of renovations again. But, like it's all these like ups and downs that like, I'm literally okay. Like, it's not like I'm financially like in trouble, but it's more of like, I just don't feel as productive because of all these like kind of like highs and lows.
I'm going to say one thing, just because when I was investigating the same business, like similar business model to you, is like to set up, it's quite hard to all of a sudden set up the infrastructure, the staffing and everything for the venue to start operating, right? Because you think from day one, it needs to be fully functional, like a restaurant, right? You need to have everything ready. Forget that. To make it easier, you have a space, a facility available, a decked out, pretty good face. It can be just an empty gutted hall, to be honest. Rather than you trying to build a community and trying to build an event there at the beginning, why don't you just reach out to already, like there are people that are community creators already. They have a community, be it like, entrepreneurial or like, some hackerspace type of like, tech startup or 3D printing group. Say, look, reach out to these communities. Go on meetup.com. Meetup.com, there'll be these communities that they're looking for spaces. They go to restaurants, they hire venues and say, look, I've got a venue. Do you guys just want to use it? Right? Like, and so you don't even have to create the event. The event is there. And all of a sudden you're getting 10, 20, 30, 40 people coming and using your space. It's vacant, right? No one's using it. It's just empty. Yeah, like, so just, okay, offer it up. And that's how you build. You want to be the guy, you have the facility. You're the gatekeeper for this awesome facility in the great location. Just start doing that. Look, if it doesn't work, there's no commitment, like after, because they come do the event for one night and they go. All right. And then that's how I think that's how you can really build up a community of people that know the space without any real obligation or commitment or cost. It's like, and you don't have to do any logistics. Like, hey guys, I have a key. If you want, you just got to go there, open the door and say, you guys set it up. And I guarantee you, any host of any meetup with a crew is going to love access to a kind of purpose-built space that is free or very, very cheap in a great location. Like that's their dream. And it works both ways. Like you having the physical asset you are the gatekeeper for that, which any other community member, like no one else who has these groups can just all of a sudden drop $500,000 on a community space. Yeah. Right. Whereas if you that's what you have. So you don't need to be the head guy. You need to be like, that's not your pitch. So I think that's also a route you can take. Go to meetup.com. For people doing meetups of events that make sense for your space, or the kind of clientele you want to know about your space. So if you want to use it for free, you're sitting there, it's set up, my feet might get a bit wet, but if it's free then, or really cheap, why not? And that's a regular space. And people that come in and go, oh, I can rent out a desk, I can organize games, I can do these, like that's too easy.
Yeah. I literally like I've done that. Like I've looked at Meetup just to like all these groups and stuff. But again, it's the accountability thing where like, you know, when you're motivated, you're just kind of like ready to go. And then the next day you're just like, it's a gloomy day and it's like something shitty happens. Like, oh man, it's just like, I don't know. Like I get it like 100%. Like I agree with you. It's just, I really got to push myself to actually do it instead of just keep on talking about it because it's that thing inside of you that just holds you back from stopping. Just, I don't know what it explain it, right? It's just like, it pulls you down and you're just like, you know,
you've done the hard work. You got the space. You got the thing. Now you just got to send out a message saying like, because it's there. So look, hey, I've got, even if it was empty, hey, I've got a vacant space. You know, just message, hey, I've got a vacant space. It's just sitting there. Do you like your meetup sounds great. Do you want to use it for free? Let me know. And send that to 20 people. That's it. All you need is like 30 minutes of motivation to reach out. Because once you sent that message, that's the hurdle. Send that message. Then once you get the responses, you're gonna follow up. You're not gonna do it, right? So I think that's the hurdle you need to get over. Is my take on it. I've got my own hurdles I'm aware of.
It was a good talk today. Thank you guys.
No, thanks. I'm pumped about your space. Let's just Dub. I'm just looking at some of the messages. So we got the Flawk site.
Yeah.
Is there a password for it?
Yeah, it's just uppercase KAW.
Oh.
I just use a template. So, but it's an invite site with, it has a gated wall, so we can have manage who can see what. But I just accidentally posted the graphic but I had March 20th, not May, so I had to like delete it. And
The password isn't this thing. Please try again.
let's see. Flawk.com.
KAW uppercase. Yeah, it works.
All uppercase. Okay, I thought it was
Yeah,
okay.
KAW all uppercase.
Okay, got it.
You know, like pick a default audio. Throw yourself.
Is it ShareSpace? I mean Squarespace?
Yeah, it's just Squarespace. Yeah, there's a ton of templates in there.
It looks pretty nice as this template itself.
Yeah, I think it was
Like, I'm
pretty.
gonna make
There's
one
a
shot.
different picture behind it, and then it's got a date. We can put the address, at least for now, and then we can have RSVPs. I don't know. I didn't look at it to see.
I want to make a website tomorrow.
But yeah, you're gonna what?
Me and Emil is gonna make a website tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, I used to build websites, but custom. But I'm like, the centralization of this, right? You can just like, and you can have collaborators. I'd rather build new stuff like code for NFTs instead of building websites because this is easier. And they're managing. I mean, the templates are great. It looks great.
Yeah. No, it looks good. It looks good. But I'm gonna call it out. So my name is pronounced Emil, like Emilio.
Yeah, sorry.
Without the IO. Yeah. No. I thought it's always easier the very first time.
So think about your questions, and then I'm just gonna focus the next week on these meetings, just like getting people ready for like we got a meeting coming up with Gary, and I'm not gonna ask any questions. So whatever I can do to help other people get theirs asked.
So I'll put out two things. One is I'll ask if I'll ask if anyone's got a free Hawk spot to
you should do it that way.
Yeah, but I'll let him know. I'll ask if we can do it. But and as you said, yeah, just I'll tell him, look, this is what I've put it out. I will put his question up there and say, this is what we're doing. I'll ask him to type it out. We put it up there, and if it gets upvoted, then voted for it, fine. I think they can blast through it anyway.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, like, but I think just the permission, like, I know anyone can ask, but he gets dozens of emails. So I think just to say, also in the Hawk chat, by the way, like, because I think if his email comes in the Hawk chat, requested thing, if one of the questions is, he's starting a radio show, well, to talk with your team about, just some kind of engagement with you, is it okay if he sends an email to that and goes, yeah, sure, send it at Hawk thing. At least that there's that connection. It's not just a random email. It's from the Hawk chat. Yeah.
But maybe like you can start asking Hawks, because there's like a lot of legit Hawks that are in the group to interview them. Like, that's a starting point, right? Like, get enough like traction like that too. Yeah,
definitely. I think so. There's lots of options. But he asked me good because I was the only Hawk in
Yeah.
Oh, he asked if are there any hawks, and I was it. I've been in that chat for like maybe 2 months now. Prior to me purchasing, I'm like, just let me know the community, let me see who's there or whatnot. So it's kind of good. There is well, just quickly, we're talking before about like the DAO and like the community of what we can bring to this. I kind of think like this group, one opportunity I see is if we become more than just a quarterly talk with Gary, but have a group like what we're doing now, right? This is exciting, as an accountability group, mastermind, a networking sort of group, a community that is doing these other stuff, other events, and is really building up that, really adding value to the Hangout Hawk world. I think that's something that he will really go back on and repeatedly mention in the future. Like, money he'll continue giving to the group beyond the 3-year time limit, the 3-year window. And he's alluded to that before, but especially if he sees the community is doing so much already and has their own thing going as well, he's gonna be I think he's more inclined to actively participate, rather than if it's just a shit community, why would he continue giving to it? Whereas, hey, if this is such an awesome group, you're bringing other people in, we're sort of growing and, expanding the scope of what he's doing with the community, he may continue it, which again adds value to the Hawk aspect. And the more he calls it out, the more he says, look, he can say the NFTs have blown up, this and that, and the Hangout Hawk community now is doing this, is doing that. The more he also promotes it as well to in any of his spaces, right? How successful the Hangout Hawk was and the group is, the more value it adds to the future down the line. Whatever he does with the Hangout Hawk IP, we can control how hot it becomes or how exciting it becomes by what we do outside of his sessions. And this is a great example of it. There's 3 of us on now, but I think yesterday, like the one you did, like this is 10 a.m. my time, which works, but the other one would have like a lot more from very cool.
Yeah, I think we're definitely all on the same page. Because like even like for my space, right? Like it's something that's in New York. It's not that far from him. Like if we can treat it as like an unofficial spot for like Hawks to hold events, like if you're ever in New York and stuff like that, and then, like if we all have in each area that we are, just like once in a while throw an event and just have like these kind of gatherings and just like how small businesses come at it, like like treat it into like this own entity, like kind of like the Flyfish Cup, right? Like we can make our own thing, and like just like have each people in different areas just hold these things once in like consistently, and then become its own thing that like he would draw attention to it. Like I can see this like easily eventually being worth way more than what it is now. And like but it's one of those things that like we need that accountability. We have to hold each other accountable and actually like kind of do it, because I think that's the biggest struggle. Like as motivated as like a couple of us are, we just have to keep on getting like showing results to other people, so they kind of want to go like, oh, I want to be a part of it now too. Because I think right now only make me like 25 to 30% of the actual Hawks are active, and those active people, like everybody has their own thing, so we have to kind of figure out if we can just like lure them in with something. And like I was hoping the space would be like kind of like big enough to like say, oh, let's try to do something, but then I think it's too like individualized. So like we do need to find something to make us all incentivized in the same kind of way. I'm not really sure what that is yet, but then like I feel like with Darby, like just hosting these like every week, it's really like help with accountability, right? Like it gives us something to kind of like go to and like talk about and get to know each other better. And a little bit of patience, but I feel like we should keep on trying to push the envelope and just like see how far we can get it.
I think things shifted for me. I've changed my perspective on how much can I offer to help, like give, and then just see what happens. And I don't. Everyone's in a different industry, and I don't know what Gary's thinking he wants to turn this into. Initially, people said 4Ds, but like there's only 125 of us, and now we're retired. Our token is retired, which I think is a really good thing. But it's really good actually. But yeah, like
no more access.
Dude, yeah.
There's no more access tokens like in the VeeFriends 2. There's no more, and I think he's spreading himself thin. He can't keep doing these access tokens. He'd rather give to the VeeFriends one.
I mean, in my head, like he talked about like group hubs, right? But then I'm like, he wants to make this bigger than Disney. Like, do you know how many operators and how many C-level staff Disney has to operate globally? There's so much opportunity just built into that question right there. Like, for everybody that's involved in the Hawk group, whatever that turns into, I don't know. Yeah.
What do you want to get out of this?
So I'm probably gonna cry. I won't do it though. I've tried to launch a bunch of companies on my own, and I usually try and do stuff too much by myself. But my goal is to use decentralization to help the world's at-risk children, because I was one of those kids, to learn through entertainment, because I think that's the easiest point of entry. Like, Disney actually said he'd rather entertain than educate, because if they're entertained, they'll get educated, versus the other way around. So my goal, there's been way too many synchronicities the past year. My goal was to start this company where kids can earn and learn on the blockchain using entertainment technology, and then as VeeFriends has been manifesting, I'm like, holy shit, Gary's doing the exact thing I want to do. That's crazy. So I'm doing like research. I'm in a PhD program to try and figure all this out. So it's research backed and data backed. At this point now, I'm like, I just want to help VeeFriends, because if VeeFriends wins, at some point, I'm like, I have this platform I'm building where I want to systemize a story platform that kids can learn from, that are using voice assistants, because that's my background, is voice assistants. And I got pulled into Gary how many years ago, because he was talking about voice.
Oh yeah, the early voice days.
Still too early, right? So, it's a learning journey too. I was a part of like Web 1.0 to Web 2, and it was like the greatest exciting period of my life. And this feels just like that. And I used to think, man, I just want to do that again. And now I'm like, holy shit! Like, on last year on May, when VeeFriends launched, I'm like, this is just like when we launched Tell Me. And like, we had so much funding. Oh my gosh! Like, I met Bill Gates, like all this crazy stuff in this 3-year period. And this feels like that. So I'm like, I just want to keep doing this, because this is going to change the world. Like, and the more Gary shows the characters he's building, and the more people I see, and the way NFT and art are bringing a different like attitude towards business and economics, I'm like, and here's the other thing. This is part of why I'm like, I just want to be on the VeeFriends team ride, whatever that looks like. I'll survive. I don't have to work for VeeFriends, right? I'll figure it out. Like, I had a Bitcoin company that I had started in 2011.
Wow.
But I couldn't really get off the ground, and I never figured out, I just didn't do it, right? Like, I didn't do social posts, whatever. But the goal of that was to be a Patreon for crypto, to help artists make a living with their art. And so that was always in the back of my mind, but I've always been doing the voice. And then once I decided to listen to Gary, I quit my government job. I flipped a house on my own. I took all the money and I put it into crypto, the profits from it. And now I've since turned it into NFTs. It wasn't a lot, but it was still like more money than I ever had to just like move around like that. But that original idea was to benefit schools in Africa. So when VeeFriends announced like one of their charities is Pencil for Promise to build, and they're building schools in Africa, I'm like, this is the exact, yeah. I'm like, I just want to help this. I'm just going to help fuel this. That's what I'm like. I'm just going to help the Hawks and see what happens and do whatever I can and use this. I'm good at building tech and innovating and having crazy ideas. I'm very crazy, but that's my magic, I guess. I don't know. There's like, and I love authenticity. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of like, the past 3 days has honestly been a little bit overwhelming. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Because I posted in the cord, as I've been doing this, I'm telling friends, and I have a colleague in the business school here who had just come to me like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, hey, he said a billionaire just funded us a new department for global education initiatives, and they have $10,000 in like multiple rounds of grant money just to give, no strings attached. Do you want to apply for it? Because I'll help you get it, to help build everything I just described. He's like, whatever that is, I love it. Like, yes, let's make it happen. You'll get a desk in our incubator space. So whatever's happening, I'm just like trying to trust my gut and keep building and just stay in the place where it feels right and where there's kindness and positivity, and it's awesome.
So, what you're doing right now, like, and I said it as soon as I came on, I go, wow, like just the fact that for you, it may be just ordinary practice, but you just listen to also myself, executing, just doing something, getting something done, pen to paper, getting a site done, getting something up, getting a domain, just doing that is a struggle for a lot of people. I said, just pulling our finger out of a butt, whereas your fingers are like waving around magic and you're just getting stuff done. Like that's magical. Like, don't think, oh, everyone does that, anyone can do that, because no one's fucking doing that. Of the people that are here, only you're the one doing it. And so in this group as well, like I said, I jumped on, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a weekly, every month, every quarter is gonna be a call with Gary. That's my accountability thing. And all of a sudden, in the space of like one Discord, and then also, oh yeah, we've got these like these Zoom meetings as well. I'm like, oh, okay, wow, okay, that's just leveled up the value that I was thinking I was getting of it. And now you're like, oh, we're doing an event and we're getting this, and here's the site, and here's the registration, and even at the very start, oh, we got a new hook, great. Here's the Google sheet, put your info, we want to know about you, right? Just all that, like, oh wow, okay.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The fact that this is there, this is created, and like you got a hand in a lot of it, making the stuff, like that's significant. Like, I don't think this would probably not exist if you weren't doing it. So yeah, thanks. Like you go ahead and do it, because you do it. Yeah, he's like, you're very good at just getting like out, like shipping stuff. I remember like early days of Facebook, like, when it was, when pre sort of, negativity towards it. People saying like Zuck's had what's it called, had something written on his desk, is like keep shipping.
Yeah.
Keep shipping. And I had that on my desk in my old job. Like, it's like, yeah, just output, just ship something, not do the work, not just do the operation, ship something new. And you're doing that. Like, there's 3 links I think you've put in here already that are just something that you've created. Yeah, so I think
this is good feedback, because
like, it'll be really successful. Yeah,
it was a long time ago that I was in this type of environment, and it was so when I worked at Tell Me, I saw Facebook when it was still only available to college students, because I worked with a bunch, like the entire team from Tell Me is now the audio team at Facebook. So I've had some traumas and stuff happen between then and now, like, so this is really good feedback, because it feels new, because I'm stepping up in a way. Like, I was very junior back then, but that was a long time ago. So I've gotten an MBA since then. I've pitched a bunch of companies. I've tried to start my own thing. So I'm acting different in that sense from an individual perspective, like from myself. But I do, like, I'm trying to, like, Gary had a couple of podcasts where he was talking about the older people stepping up. I'm like, yeah, I do have experience. It's not about age for me. Like, any kind of like hesitancy I have is my own, just like whatever that I had since I was a kid. So for me, it's like, oh yeah, what did happen? Like that story of like the CEO saying, everyone's invited to our board meeting because we don't really have a board yet. So I'm trying to remember that. So this is really good feedback. I appreciate it, because it feels uncomfortable because it's new, but I'm just like, just get some shit done.
Yeah, that's it. And you are going to be like, you're the person, like you're the host of this. You're the one who's getting it done amongst the Hawks, who's building this core community, who's organizing these events, who's doing it. There's like, a handful of the coordinators, the heads of it, that are doing it, and that evolves naturally, right? Like, yeah. I'm probably not going to be the person to do that. And there's going to be a lot of people that we don't have the capacity, or we don't have the interest, or that's not our space, right? But there are the people that the cream rises to the top, and the ones that do that get noticed. And then once you're in that field, it's like, oh, that's it, that's all you do, especially when it's something so public and so seen like this by people. Like, if you're the one who's coordinating, the top coordinator and whatnot, like the VeeFriends team or Gary's team, you'll be sort of known. Like, the certain people, like, Jeremy knows on the Jeremy Knows podcast, the Busy NFT, like just because they do stuff, they become the voice. Like that's the one. And like Tim F, like everyone knows, like, oh, he's got the stats on book games. Like, these handful of people, like, to be known and seen, you basically just do it. You don't have to try to fake it. Just by doing and creating, you will naturally rise to the top of the visibility, and then you have the leverage, or you have people say, oh, she executes, she does it. What do you even do? Oh, this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, let me hook you up, because they see how good you are as like if I had any kind of connection that could help you, I'd be like, you seem like a competent person who I'm glad to recommend, because you're not random. Like you can see your work, you can see what's being done, your output. I have confidence that anyone I recommend will be also be impressed by you, or anyone I try to network you with will be impressed by you.
Yeah.
So I think just by you doing that, you're automatically rising to the top. That's going to give you that open up the opportunities. It's not leverage, maybe the wrong word, because that's not what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
but
no,
you'll get a lot more opportunities open to you.
Like if I could, like, honestly, like if there's some way I could help. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I love entrepreneurship. I have 6 brothers, and we all work for ourselves. And like, I'm not the same kind of street kid as a New Jersey boy, but I'm like Salt Lake City. Like, I don't know. I grew up, in the '70s downtown in a blue collar family. So yeah, I feel like I have the same like desires to help kids through content that VeeFriends is doing. So it's still scary. Like for me to hear good feedback, still that's weird. Yeah. My therapist gives me good feedback, but not just like friends.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving you like proper feedback, not to make you feel good, but just hopefully to make you more successful on your journey. I think you explain your mission, your story to like once the VeeFriends team knows that's what you're doing. I think that there's, again, if you think what they're doing is in the right direction, similar direction to what you want to do, then it's like, I feel that's the kind of space where, I don't know them that well yet, but where they think, ooh, you know what, we're looking for a community head in this particular area. Maybe they're looking for one of the characters, one of the IP is kids entertainment, kids education, because they have so many characters, they're going to delve into that. Who's the person in the community first? Who is there anyone we know in the community who is in that field? And hold on, it's this person who's leading the Hawks, the Hangout Hawks, who we deal with all the time, who we've seen. Oh, that's the space. That's how you engage with them.
Because that's kind of in my mind, I'm like, the Hawks aren't where they, like, we got a couple of years before like the Hawks are cohesive, right, together, where I feel like we could be helping each other more than us asking Gary for questions, and we could definitely like each get to like a next level place. But I don't know what Gary wants. Who knows what Gary's got in store? Who knows? But like I want to make the Hawks like in 30 years, like we're gonna change whatever we want to have happen. We can help each other make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, like even just like you and Laura, like you're gonna be like pillars, It's like literally like we're gonna think back like 30 years, like what in 30 years in the future, we're gonna like, holy crap, remember when we were doing those Zooms with like 2 people or 3 people? And it's like literally like we're gonna be talking about it. It's gonna be like crazy.
Yeah. We'll be on some talk show in the metaverse somewhere doing it.
It might be like, and this is what we're talking like now is where the pillars are sort of being kind of the foundations being created. This is the early days, right? This is where, again, like the network, like this group, us, we're gonna know Darby, like that's why I said with Sal the Guardia, right? He's gonna be a big voice in the space. There's really good value of us, like if the Hawks try to help him out, if he's a voice, and like that means like the flip side, anytime we have something, we want to be on the radio, we want to be on promote something or get involved and he'll have a huge network. If the Hawks help him out, like there's just having that network a decade down the line that we're friends, we're good, like there are certain pillars that are being created, and these are the ones now that, and you see it, like you're back in the day, like I mean, Wilson, you're still young, so I think you're at the start of it, but Dub and I have seen it, like we go back 10, 20 years. The people that were really our peers, that were the ones that were doing this, now are the executives and seniors. They're the ones that are really rised, I have network now because all the people that I used to hang out with earlier in my 20s and 30s are now my age, and they're quite successful in their business. So now the network of my friends I've known for 20 years are now, these executives at companies. Right? Or they're the ones doing these things. I think this is the similar thing now. This is where we're growing the network and that connection with, in a decade's time, these are going to be the pillars of VeeFriends, of the NFT world, of the NFT community. Who went to the biggest first VeeFriends? That's where I want to go. I'm flying from Japan because, if you think back to Bitcoin, right? Crypto, like anyone who went into crypto conferences in 2010, 2011, who was in that world is like, okay, yeah, no, that's early. 2017 is not early when I got in. That's very, very old. That's very, very late. So I think this is where we're at, and I've seen it happen too many times where I've missed the opportunity in Web 1.0, Web
Totally
2.0.
on that. Yep, totally.
And now this is it. I've missed it. I'm 12 months behind in this NFT space, but I feel, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to go to VeeCon because this is early in the movement forward.
I have actually a question for you. So when I started the NFT thing, it was like I moved all my crypto to NFTs, and then I bought the VeeFriends. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then I've shifted to part-time at my job here, which was part of me making space for the Hawks. So, but over last year, I didn't really have a lot of time to get into the Hawks, but I also sold some and diversified my NFT portfolio, not just for the financial aspect, but also to get into some other projects like Boss Beauties. I've made a lot of friends in those other projects, and what I've learned from that is almost all those other leaders are VeeFriends first. They all got in from VeeFriends, and they all branched out to their own projects. There's a lot of them like that are also Hangout Hawks, but are not in the Hawks actively. And I thought Gary Vee is like the initial wave, and he's carrying, VeeFriends is carrying so many of their projects in the space. And I saw a lot of people get mad, like, why aren't you helping more projects? He's like, I'm all in on VeeFriends now. Like, he's carrying that. And I'm like, that's like, if you think Disney versus like Nickelodeon or Disney versus whatever it might be, VeeFriends is, and there's so many other people like Mark Zuckerberg, all these other people that he knows are invested in it too, right? Like that's some of the soft was equity that you have with people, right? So VeeFriends isn't going to lose.
No, it's not lose. He's too connected. He's got too much of a machine.
Paul, like Mr. Beast, he has like all these people.
Yeah. So my question is, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy all these VeeFriends. I'm going to have this variety show where I have all these different like Boss Beauties and some that I own the IP, like a couple of crypto schools, and create children's content and educational content from those and automate it. So it's like a variety show, not just to VeeFriends. But I'm good at having tons of ideas. And now I'm swinging back to VeeFriends. I'm like, I've got to focus all my time on VeeFriends because I want my Hawk token, and I love entrepreneurs, and I love, like, I've been loving this experience of like hosting these. Now I'm like, I don't know if I need to kind of like let go of that idea. Look, you're talking about Saul, and it's like being on his show. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be on his show. And I'd even mentioned to Wilson, like, you don't have to be famous on TikTok. Like, do I care about being the host of some show? I don't know if I do. Like, I think I like operate, like I like making shit happen more. You know what I mean?
That's what I think you need to be there. The self-awareness part is, don't be confused. Like you said, you want to make like what are you good at and what aren't you? So like you said, you want to make, like, use the IP or whatnot. Like you want to make content for kids to help them educate and grow. Are you a storyteller? Can you actually create the story? Like the content that the kids are like, are you going to make the content, or are you like, is that what you do? Are you creative?
I mean, that's historically, that's what I owned a recording studio. I have a bachelor's degree in creative writing. Like, that's my background. Like, I was in a radio DJ, but now part of my transformation has been like, I understand systems engineering, and I'm pretty good at like bullshitting a bullshitter to get funding. So there's certain things I'm like, wow, people want to give me money. Whatever. Okay. But like platform building, there's other things that I'm good at. I'm learning as I'm letting myself explore that.
Yeah. So like things that, would you be better at hiring or getting someone to come and create this stuff? And because you have some knowledge of fun, like you said, you got a bachelor's degree in what's creative writing, was it? Like, rather than you having to because now you want to wear so many hats. You want to be the creator of the content, creator of the story, plus the developer, plus the person who makes all the platform.
Just so you know, so the PhD is actually entertainment education is a systemized way of delivering a story that has a formative and summative research method circle to show that the story is delivering beneficial outcomes. So that's what I'm researching, is that model. So is more platform based, right? Because I understand storytelling, like you can stick songs and stories in there, but there's a story arc / character set. It's actually pretty specific. So this is helping. Yeah, I'm researching the platform of the story, the
structure of how
the structure.
Yeah, so how a story should be created, but when you start,
I don't have to create the content.
When you start doing the animation, writing the script, the dialogue.
Yeah, and I've done those things here and there, but I'm obviously not still doing them, so it's not what excites me.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's something that you maybe focus on the platform side of stuff, and get someone else, an animator, to make the story. And you say, look, this is how it needs to be structured. So I want you to make stories within this stuff, which is research based.
Yeah.
Right, and it's very, very interesting. This is the ideal learning model. This is what, so create a bunch of topics, and this is how you should do it. But I feel that focus I think you need to be kind of aware on the leverage that you want to get. Be it you want to be on the show, you want to be on, or you want to be known as a certain person, meet certain people. What are you trying to get out of it? I think you need to think about what the model is. Lately,
all I've been thinking is if I give as much as possible to the VeeFriends community, I'm going to build as many African schools as possible. And then if I finish my PhD and help create a system for stories to be more effective, if it's VeeFriends, whoever, I'm going to help as many kids as possible. Data, quantifiable, right? It's not for just shits and giggles, but quantifiable to say, I've been putting all this time in for VeeFriends and energy, and I can see that they just donated $5 million to African schools. That's all I need. That's great, right? Or I can, or even here at my job at the U, I can say I just delivered story content to one village in Cape Verde is the place he's working on right now. Or I can say that school benefits from those teachers or educators being able to deliver better content. The kids are learning better. That's great. That's the kind of outcomes I'm looking for, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm getting clarity just from this conversation, because I'm should I sell my boss? I have some things 3 boss beauties I could sell to by book games. That's what my gut is starting to tell me to do. Get more into VeeFriends, because if I really believe in this, in VeeFriends, I want to put more effort into tokens. But like we talked Tuesday, taking the emotion out of it, because there's some emotion involved. I almost sold the boss beauty today, but I was but I love her. She looks like my grandma. I'm oh my gosh, there's that emotion again. It has nothing to do with what are my outcomes, what are my goals, and
what's the end goal, and are your actions you're doing now in line with that? And so one thing I always think is don't spread yourself too thin, because it will, you want to get to your goal and be able to do the end goal successfully. If you start spreading yourself too thin, you may not achieve the overall level. So maybe it's best to focus more on the VeeFriends and trying to develop a platform and a system. And it seems like that's kind of the process for your education, and then and maybe some the goal should create that. And once that's established and well known and maybe accepted, and you start being involved, and now creators are starting to come and make content for your platform. That's when you actually have a product and people can see it and know it. That's when you can really start saying, and my goal is to providing it to the schools. That's when you can start going, okay, I have a product, and it's easier to get people excited, say, I'm willing to back that, because this product is now, the end goal is to help, schools. If you're trying to do that now, if you're at the same time creating your product, you're also spreading yourself thin by focusing on helping kids in Africa, with schools and funding or donations or charity drives.
That's why I'm VeeFriends will take care of that. So I actually have a system that I have too many ideas, obviously. So with our group, right, the website, I found some tools that I the data visualization of the map, being able to see each other. there's only 125 of us. I'm like, I can create so many more tools for us to be able to communicate and get this going, and like have easier communication between the 125 of us globally, including like translation tools and video to text search and things like that. But then automating some of that, and I have a meeting with D-Rock on, we're doing a barter. I'm going to exchange.
Yeah, you said that.
I want to ask him what his production flow is, because that is my background. But I'm like, how are you getting so much content done, dude? Like, so asking him, and he took the meeting. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to take the meeting. Like, even if I don't have it right.
Well, what did you exchange? I'm curious. What was it? Exchange?
So he had posted something, and I said, if you want book games tokens, I'm like, I'm kind of surprised you don't have any. He's like, well,
yeah.
One thing I didn't get, but I'm like, how about one floor token that I have for an hour of your time? Yeah. He's like, that's cool. How many do you want? 5? Do you want 5 meetings? I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, how about we do 2 meetings and see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. And maybe I'm happy to exchange 5 book tokens for 5 hours of your time. I mean, that's pretty expensive, but like, it's fucking D-Rock, dude.
Yeah, it's D-Rock. It is D-Rock, and
really?
And he's
yeah.
So D-Rock posted. Wilson, D-Rock posted. I don't have it. Like, this is how many book games tokens I got. So if anyone wants to trade.
Yeah. So I DM'd him.
And that. Wow. So that's because that's one that it's actually quite costly, but if that's 5 dedicated hours to the person who has the most direct access to Gary.
Yeah.
And he's going to dedicate to listening to your story. And if he likes it and he's like, we need someone, like he is like, D-Rock is the guy that, the fact that we all know who he is, and we've known it for like 5 years now, 7 years now.
I'll give him a book game token.
He DM'd me, he's like, I followed you and I'm in, let's schedule it. I'm like, weird.
Yeah, like that's when like you have the Hawks is one window, but D-Rock is the ultimate.
Yeah, so this is the questions I'm asking you. I'm like, I got to get set on like what I want, right? Like this variety show is one thing, but for real, like the direct benefit and like getting feedback from you and like the other people that are actual entrepreneurs that are all around the world is like, I love it, and I understand entrepreneurship. I've been doing lemonade stands, and I've been doing that my whole life. I love it. So that it really helps me the way you're talking about this, because I know it's a big deal, but I'm like, I want to automate this
emotion
stuff.
out of it.
I know it's hard.
To a degree, because you want to do it. You want to help everyone. You'll do everything. But I travel a lot on flights, right, with kids. Help yourself first, in case of emergency. Help yourself before you help others. Because if you're down, you can't you can't help others if you're not at a really good stage. That's why get your stuff sorted. Get before you start getting yourself thin, you want to help get your product really down right. Get it. That's what, because that's what's going to help add so much to to everything once that's done right.
Here's one thing this is the thing I was gonna say earlier. So the product for the kids thing, I've kind of like set off to the side because there's still like 1.5 years of research I have to do for that. But I know I'm in the right place because I know VeeFriends is right. But so this Hawk site, I'm doing this collaborative NFT thing, and I'm like, okay, there's 125 wallets. We have a collaborative NFT for each meeting, and in my head I'm like, I think this could be down the road a product for corporations to use. Instead of a POAP for attendance, anybody that's here gets to draw on it. If you're here, I airdrop you this NFT. But if you sell your NFT, I auto birth or spawn, whatever you want to call it, all the NFTs that you earn from your collaborations in the group get left behind for the person that buys your NFT. So you're building value for your particular Hawk token, and they're being left behind in I'm calling it a heritage wallet. They're being left behind if you sell your token. And then the royalties for all those tokens together, and this is the software I found last night, I figured out a way, I just need to code it, is that the royalties fan out also kind of like a genealogy chart, so that the Hawk tokens, I want to create a way for all of us to build our own value for the token, because in 10, 20, 40 years is a long time for 125 tokens. So if you own your token for 140 years, and then you've built up max value out of NFTs that you could have been selling on the market, and then you sell your token, whoever buys it from you also buys any NFTs that are now, even though they're higher in, or that you've decreased the scarcity, you've left behind kind of a footprint and a portfolio of NFTs that the person that buys your hawk it's an add-on value. Is that, am I crazy?
Yeah, no, so here's the thing, so each specific hawk will now have a different value because each one has assigned different levels of sub tokens, right?
So like for me, I've been in every meeting, so mine would theoretically have the most value. Wilson's been in most of the meetings, so his would have close to that too. Yeah, so.
So I think here's the thing, right? From what you've been speaking up until now about education and creation for in like be it empowerment through this network, through this group, or through your business plans, your ideas through your study. This one just feels like what you just mentioned is just an NFT platform, which it feels almost quite separated from the other stuff you've been talking up until now, right? Like create like.
So in my head, I have two things. I have the hawks. How do I give as much value here as possible while I research this other stuff? Because I won't have a product for at least 2 years.
Okay, so the research stuff and the education, but that's something you can speak about because that's what you research now, and that's what I think what D-Rock should know about, because that's something that like I think he should know about two things: what you want to do, your end goal in terms of creating educational content. And look, maybe because you're in it, that one thing I realized, when you're in it, you do not realize that no one else fucking knows about this topic. The fact that if you turn around and say I had no idea, to anyone, there is research, I'm very specifically researching for educational content via stories. There is a method and a process and a timing. Like D-Rock will definitely understand that for when you develop a story, there is timing and method to, the stages and of a story. But explaining that there's actually research that for education for kids, there is a certain scientific approach, a researched approach. That's what you're doing right now. Yeah. He's probably never aware of it, but the fact that you say it does make complete sense, and you are the doctor in that field. So when it comes to making educate kids content with an educational manner, right? The moment that comes up, he's going to tell on the VeeFriends team, "Ooh, one of the hawks is doing a PhD in that." Right? So that's basically what he needs to know, because that's so relevant. And you can even call out, look, so by the way, like if you're ever making content, IP content for kids and education, this is what I'm researching. I'm happy to consult with you guys, to talk with you guys, because I'm so passionate about it. And that's the
okay. That's my long game. Yeah, that's my long game. Yeah.
But that's your long game. But that's what you can talk about that now. Like you don't have to have the product, but you are just an expert in that field right now because you're a doctorate studying, researching that. You're doing a PhD in that. So you are an expert in that. So the moment they want to, like, so you can say, look, by the way, if you guys are ever doing, so the two things you should tell them, if, this is all overall, whatever discussion, blah, blah, but the two things where you think you can help the VeeFriends communities, this is your specialty, the kids education content and how to structure it. Now the VeeFriends is making so much IP. If you ever delve, or if you guys are considering doing the kids education via entertainment through this IP, through storytelling, because he thinks he knows storytelling, and he does. But when there's a very specific model for that, I like, please let me know. I want to participate. I want to help, because that's what I research as a PhD, is the storytelling methods for education. He needs to know that.
Okay.
And please call me. I want to help. And two, for the Hangout Hawks, this is what I want to make the Hangout Hawks a big group. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to sort of create. And like a platform, we would come together, we collaborate. Those are the two. The third item, which I want to start making it like the NFT and how the tokens can add value and they can grow further on, feels like in your mind it may be all in the same picture, but from an external party, and I don't know if you.
I agree with you, because it's almost like what you're saying is the other stuff is to hook them in. The third thing you can leave out, where you're already accumulating it, and it's whoever's participating in these meetings, And if there's enough of these meetings that brings value to it, that could be something later on, but you already have it. So you don't have to sell that at the moment, because right now you sell it to him. It sounds more of like you're trying to elevate the value instead of like your good cause. So like you do your good cause first, that you're trying to bring the Hawks together, plus like the educational content. And then the POAP NFT thing you're talking about, just keep track of it. So once there's results and they see that we're actually growing, you're just like, hey, these were the participations of who were actually involved in these like Zoom meetings and everything like that. Then you can say, this is the participation thing that I've been keeping track of. And these are the Hawks that are worth more now because this person has 10 of them because he was contributing 10 of these, where the people that didn't participate. Does that make sense? Where like you don't have to sell this yet because it's nothing. It's just really, you know, NFTs are.
For me, there were just two buckets, right? It's just Hawks, PhD, Hawks. But this is good to hear because without me saying it, I wouldn't know.
That NFT tracking platform of attendance and stuff like that. It like when you mention that, I'm like, wow, she's talking about this education, talking about, you know, the VeeFriends community and building like the Hawks community and building that up in events and making our group stronger. Then we mentioned the tech side of NFT tracking of attendance and whatnot. It's like, hold on a second. All of a sudden, it feels that sounds like
it's disconnected a little bit. Right?
Oh yeah, it's like a third party.
It's
NFT
interesting because in my head, that dashboard includes like the photo VChalk and like their POAPs or their attendance NFTs. So to me, the final vision of that product or that communication dashboard includes that. It's a piece of it. But I also understand like the code level, that back end of it. So, and this is a common thing, is like, you know, the sales pitch to the code, like there's a lot of can get lost in translation. So yeah, it's also not built, right? I mean, I have been tracking these NFTs for the whole time we've been doing this, but if it's something that detracts from the other stuff, then I just be quiet for now.
It detracts. And can you execute the first two without the third, without the NFT project?
I can't execute the first one for like at least 2 years. So.
Oh no. But I mean, so like either of the first two, or let's say the Hangout Hawk, are they dependent on this NFT tracking? Not really, like attendance tracking, like the fact that you get more rewards. It's not necessary.
No,
you could add it then. No?
Yeah, like nothing's dependent on anything else. I mean, the meeting I asked him for was to learn how to kind of automate myself out of a job so that I can post 64 pieces of content a day. That's what I'm specifically asking him, like how he's doing his production workflow, what software he's using, like, does he go to the NAB show, like this content production stuff. All this other stuff, it's interesting that it's like becoming more of this conversation, but I feel like I should just like get it in there, sidewind it in there somehow.
But maybe, I think at the start, explain this is who you are. These are the two things you're focusing on, and you want to learn how to automate the automated process so you can focus more on these two. So he needs to know who you are, why you're doing what you want. But I think letting him be very aware, this is the person, because that's what, if you want to get into the VeeFriends space and into the Gary's circle, he needs to know, okay, you are basically what you have that no one else has, is that you're a doctor in how to create educational content for kids, the scientific structure behind it. And when he's got that much IP, I guarantee you there's going to be a whole world of educational content for kids. Right? And you are the expert in that field, right? In terms of doctorate, okay? And people, like, I'm guessing most of the team don't even know that that's a thing that exists. You need to let them know that exists. You're the person. And then the second one is, okay, you're the Hawk. People know about the Hangout Hawks, but that you're creating this, that Hangout Hawks have more to than just the one thing. You have these regular sessions going on. You created Skype. You created a platform for us to engage with. We have these regular sessions. There's all this other stuff. So you're just basically a community leader, right? Whereas the NFT one's like, that's a tech project that any third party person can develop. A bunch of tech bros can develop. They can try to pitch. And I feel that like just that talk is like, wow, that's someone just trying to pitch for some funding almost. And it doesn't really.
I'm just going to build it. I mean, I know how to build it. So, but that's build it anyway. But
it really takes away from, and it, because the two other things you're providing is so unique.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's so weird because I'm like, in my head, like I'm studying this with other people. It doesn't feel unique to me. It just feels like, but that's
like
good.
because you're in that world. Like I said, when you're in that world, you don't see it, but it's unique to everyone else. But you making it any kind of NFT technology space, utility token or tracking or stuff like that, feels like it's in the world, like it's dime a dozen by anyone trying to do a grab. And that's so different to the two other ones, which are so unique. And if someone says, hey, there's an NFT project about, about how to do membership and track, and you're thinking it was, people go, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm sure I've heard of a million stuff like that. Whereas if you say, there's one girl who's working on education, and so I think everyone in the community is going, oh, I know her. I'd say myself, oh, there's somewhere that, some guy who's doing a radio show about it. Okay, it's going to be, oh, okay, you mean Sal or the busy YouTuber or the podcast. You know the names of these people. Whereas if you're just doing that little project for tracking stuff, like I'm not excited by that. I know Wilson was excited by that idea. The other two, very excited.
I kind of see it both ways, because I think what Darby is also trying to say is like that NFT thing that she's talking about, it could kind of be the way you track the Hawk meetings, right? To see who participated. So like the more you participate, it's kind of like proving that this token specifically contributed to these kind of meetings. Whereas the ones that like are left out are kind of just in it to whatever, right? To be on the background. So I see a little bit of both sides. But like I
it's
agree
a novelty.
With yeah, it's definitely a novelty, but it's almost like a badge. So I don't think it's something, Darby, you need to really talk about initially. It could just be something you're tracking, and then eventually, like let's say you become the official Hawk, the moderator for all these meetings, right? You can then say to months down the line when it's successful that like you have this thing you were tracking like every person that was attending, and then pitch that to them and say, these people are the ones that contributed the most to it. So hopefully that gives us some bonus points for anything we want to work with them, the VeeFriends community, because these are the people that actually stepped up and try to like support this cause. So there's a I see what you're both kind of saying, but I do agree, like if you try to pitch it too early, it could kind of seem like it's more for the monetary value or whatever versus the actual like giving back thing that could take away from the message of like
it's based in in the circles I'm in the education space, they're just starting to talk about badging for participation, not even for NFT, not even that level of like customization or like granularity. They're just doing like teacher badging they want badges, little badges, like a POAP, right? But a POAP isn't the same as an actual NFT. So this is helping me understand like these worlds I live in, like institutionalized education all the way down to VeeFriends, which is like.
Well, I'm still trying to understand. So the POAP. So what's POAP?
It's proof of participation something protocol. So it's kind of attendance, like literally just keeping attendance.
Okay, so attendance. So here's
but
my
it's in
issue.
An app. It's in an app. You can't resell it on the blockchain. It's only in their app, and they also don't allow. Yeah, you can't. It's not decentralized.
So here's my problem with that. So one, I kind of like I want to understand more before I say whether or not I like it or not. If the Hawks like now, like say I attended this, so I get an extra point to my Hawk token acquires an extra point because of my attendance. And the fees down the line.
Yeah, an NFT. So I maybe I should show you, but I'm creating AI art out of the collaborative art piece, and I mint it as an NFT. I'm building 125 wallets, heritage wallets, and I drop it to you, and you can resell it or keep it. It's an NFT. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So but here's the thing that I feel here's the issue, right? When you start gamifying attendance, attendance is because of the game, not because of the value. You're creating a value just by me rocking up, just by logging on and have my screen blank and not actually contributing or speaking.
Which is what a POAP is. That's exactly what a POAP is, and people love them, I guess. I don't know.
but the whole community, like I don't want, like imagine this, right? We're here because the pure value is the discussion. If there's another 30 people on this call who are here and tuned out, not logged in, they're here because they want
You know what, this is, yeah, and this is where it came from. This is, I had the idea at last fall when I hadn't been able to be as active as I wanted. There was a lot of, not a lot, but more chatter. I don't know, Wilson, if you remember, it's like, why isn't Gary pumping the hawks? He's pumping the goats. Why isn't he pumping the hawks? I'm like, okay, they want value, they want value. How can I figure out a way to add value? That's where it came from, that chatter. And also then I thought, well, I have worked on software projects where administrators are trying to increase participation through this badging thing. That's when the POAPs started to become popular. That's where it comes from, was those three things generally, but mostly from the chatter in the Hawks channel about why is the floor so low? Why isn't Gary pumping the Hawks? But the people who are active are doing it. So, I mean, and I always knew it's an experiment. So I might just close it and say there's a closed set and we're done. It was a fun experiment. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, as a method to increase participation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Participation. It may.
What?
And value, participation and value. Having watched a lot of people like really love the POAPs and like people using it as a recruiting and participation tool, I'm like, okay, that seems to be working. Like I did a couple of them, it's fine. I'm like, okay, this space moves so fast. I thought I'll try that and I'll see what I can do, right? And collaborative NFTs for corporate could be a thing because it could help them educate about NFTs in the space. I was like, I could have collaborative NFT projects on TikTok where 100 people come in and Brain Bomba does this. He does these collaborative NFTs and he airdrops everybody an NFT, but he's like an established artist. So it comes from a lot of that. Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess I'm not in that space. So I'm not too familiar with it, and I kind of get, I get what you're saying. Well, like, okay, is that the value? Like, I think with something like this, yeah. When you like, would I be happy that I want this group as this community where I can, you know, like a master, like I'll use mastermind just because that's the word that comes to mind now. It's mastermind, to have people who are participating in it who aren't participating for the mastermind. They're participating for the free drop.
Oh yeah, so I guess yeah. Here, I mean,
yeah, I get it too, but I think like with the Hawks, it's such a small group that like anything that shows unity would kind of help the cause. Just because I think right now, one of the reasons I think Gary doesn't, you know, pump the Hawks or like talk about it as much is because we don't have a lot of that unity. We're still kind of like very like kind of separated in our goals. And like, you know, sometimes like what we do, like, especially when you watch these calls, it's very individualistic and I don't want to say selfish, but like, you know, it's just kind of like, what can I get out of this, right? Instead of like, what as a community can we do? So like, honestly, anything that can encourage a little bit of participation, and like, you kind of would see like, you know, the people that are actually contributing and the ones that are just in it for like the badge or whatever, you know, like honestly, the badge means nothing. It's just like, you know, it's just something you give out.
Yeah, like
maybe we wear something one day, but like realistically it means absolutely nothing, right? So it's one of these things where we have a documentation of all these videos. Like, you know, we see who's like participating, and you know, that's
the Discord.
Yeah. So like, that's what's gonna really give the credit, not really this kind of like thing, but it also doesn't hurt, right? Like, you know, it doesn't cost any money. It just like it's like a free add-on. So like, you know, I kind of.
It's not free. It's not free. It's going to take away from like it's one. It's adding one. It's taking time away. That was like what you could be doing. Two, you want to talk about the value that's adding, like a token versus we have. Like this is it. Like what's more? You know what? If you just click every day, you click on your token, you log on. Once you log on, every day you're going to get a free token. You log on to the homepage, every day you get a free token, a free badge. Whereas in this case,
I mean, I've done something like that. Like some people like, I like being able to draw because they're drawing art, right? While we're having the meeting, but
this meeting is the value. This meeting is the network. This is what. It's not like, oh, look how many badges I've got. It's like, no, like, what is the community? What is the real actual community? It's not like tokens and I have no interaction like many other NFTs. The community is, we talk face to face. We have a Zoom with dozens of people every week, twice a week. Outside of that, where we're doing this brainstorming and discussing what we discussed on the call, discussing VeeFriends, discussing our business ideas as a mastermind. That is the unique community. Having a badge, I feel, doesn't like Like I can jump online, see someone's token. Oh,
I
he's
guess-
done this.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the mini airdrops, because it is an NFT that's and art is like interpretive, right? It is a mini NFT, or sorry, it's an NFT that's an airdrop that's resellable. But I need to think about this because I'm obviously, I asked the question, right? Because I'm like, is this even a benefit to people? And it's taking me some time, and
And it's complex.
I've
It adds
seen how
complexity.
yeah, I've seen how many. I mean, it's very common. It's similar to a POAP, but it's just instead of it being in your POAP app, it's I don't know. I didn't think about it. Yeah.
Like Zoom's easy. I can jump on a Zoom call and get lots of benefit out of it. If I have, if I know that, hold on, there's now another layer of stuff. Zoom calls means I get this, and then there's a whole, 2-paragraph explanation of how this works.
Yeah.
Hey, Emil, we have a weekly Zoom call. Like when I joined, I know that's easy, and complexity is none. Is log on to Zoom.
Yeah.
And this is it. This is like I start talking to people, and now, like you say, there's no harm. I think there is harm. You're adding friction or adding complexity to something where there's nothing. So that's my take on it.
And another thing too is like him just like walking through it. Like there will never be more than 125 Hawks. Like it's a closed group now.
That is the closing.
That kind of changed a marker in my head. I'm like, okay, so how does that change my perspective on this work that I've been doing, right? So that I'll still keep doing it for a little bit because I said I'd do these meetings for a year and see what happened. I would do the collaborative NFT for a long enough period of time to see how it goes. But everything can be like, if it doesn't work, don't keep doing it. If it's not adding value, then don't keep doing it. But we'll do it till VCon and then.
You could also just do it as like if you want to for now, and like later on, just say this is like just like almost like your attendance keeping. And just like as a recognition for like who attended, like it literally doesn't. It could be whatever you want it to be. Like I don't think any of us are really banking on it to be kind of like.
No, I didn't think that.
Like we're in it for the conversation and like us collaborating.
Yeah. I just remember where it came from. So Tell Me used to have all hands every year, right? And one year they did like they had everybody in the company when the company was like 50 people do this collaborative art project, and it hung in the halls, and everyone loved it. And we always. It was a great experience, so it kind of came from that. But yeah, I don't mean to take so much time from it. This is a good conversation. The other, like, just knowing that this seems like 3 things as I communicate it versus 2 is super helpful. Yeah.
And the first 2 are like, I fucking love this. I fucking love this.
Okay. It's like, what?
Huh?
Like, to my brain.
It's not I fucking love it. It's like you need to explain it, and I need to kind of figure out, and then maybe accept that. Okay, yeah, it's great. And I just can't say, even if it gets perfect execution and really good, I just don't think it's going to be at the end of it. Fucking, I love this.
Okay.
Right? Like it's going to be. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that was good. That was convenient. It's done. But like, would I care if it were there or not? Maybe I've got a bit more value at the end of it, but. And if you think about it, let's go back to the entry or the group. Imagine we're just a group of people, or like a mastermind. I go, you know what? We should lock in this group. We should add value to this group. I know. Why don't we have an NFT where each of us own a very limited NFT? We can transfer it for access to this group. That's what it is. That's what the Hangout Hawk is. The NFT barrier to entry and the tracking and the value, the tool which adds value to how useful this group is, or is already created.
Yep. I think that's the key from tonight, because we have I also started doing this because they wanted to do a DAO. No, we don't know each other well enough. We need to get to know each other. So I'm like, okay, let's start meeting more regularly. Let's just make it so. So we meet often. But we are kind of already a DAO without there's no regulations for it. But we have a greater voice planning the party, making the action happen just by the nature of showing up, right? And whoever isn't.
By being a hawk.
Being a hawk and being here. Yeah.
Like to be here, you need to be a hawk to get on the Discord to be here.
Yeah.
That's it. There's so many barriers already that are in place that make this a valuable token.
Yeah.
So we don't need to. I think that extra level of complexity at this stage is not needed when it's going to take away from your 2 fuck yeah options.
Yeah, for me, it's like how can I help? How much can I offer? Which is a new way of working for me. So this is helpful.
Yeah, the first two, killer.
Okay.
One.
You should also try to figure out which character you would want to represent you, because like let's say hypothetically they choose for you to like I
already have a story written about a polar bear, so that's why about polar
so like let's say the polar bear, and then like let's say now all the polar bears that are holders of polar bears, maybe they get like I don't know 20% of like your IP, something like that, where like you can just like you could be the thing. So like
yeah.
Because I was actually thinking about that for like, because I have the blobfish, that like if I could somehow make my space into like a club or something like that people like could attend, I could just say like all the blobfish people can like have free access to come.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Something like that.
I'm
like,
a hawk. Everything I'm doing is for hawks. That's all I'm focusing on, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I'm.
But like your education thing, right? Like what I'm saying is that can be its own entity on its own, where like you're
so
so you represent that as your new like that your side project of like if he grants you permission to be that IP, like the pigeon or like the empathy wine, like you could be that like perk, so like think of like I was just thinking that would be kind of cool if you get blessed with like one of the characters as like one of the people that you're collaborating with. Yeah.
It's because honestly, like I was like, my PhD is 2 years away, so I can talk about it, but I don't have like the platform's not built. Like, that shit to build.
But even like the like part of the team to help create like an educational content for kids and whatever, like you can somehow contribute that to be part of the VeeFriends team. Like that's kind of what I feel like, especially with the Hawks, they're all business leaders. If we reveal enough of us and what we can contribute, we can be those collaborators. We could be that Pigeon X. We could be. Did he give us? It's only that and the wine, right? Was there anything else? I think it was just those two for now.
Who's it? I mean, the POAPs had the Halloween guys.
No, I'm talking about like VeeFriends, like the Pigeon.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, the mini drops. The mini drops had some like the Halloween characters had some of the characters in there. Do you mean physical goods? Like I have like
the collaborations, like the pigeons, right? He had the hoodie,
Yeah.
And then I think for Empathy Elephant, the wines, like they got like the special wine and stuff like that. Like if you can somehow pitch your idea to be the representation of something, you could be like that collaboration. Right?
Just and like So I want to be a so we'll see, because I don't even know if it'll work with VeeFriends, but like I'm working with UNESCO, and I still have to write the book about it. So this year I finished my research, and then I do qualifying exams for like 6 hours on a Saturday, and then I drink heavily, and then I take a year and I write a book basically. And then once I get or two, I can take 2 years. At the end of this year is when I'll really like have an idea of like what the platform looks like.
You should also think about like, because you're at a school, right? It's a university, so maybe like create like a club, an NFT club or something, and just get people to help you. I
created. I work with the Utah blockchain. I'm part of the Utah blockchain DAO. We have a Utah coin, and it started to take too much time away from Hawks. I'm like, I'm all in Hawks. I'm gonna spend all my time.
Do you think you could get like assistance to like help you?
This is Rio.
Hey.
Hi.
He just got COVID today.
How you feeling?
You got a fever from yesterday. Hold on, turn the volume up. How you feeling, Rio? Good, yeah. You got two walkie-talkies on him.
Wow.
Reno, like Nevada?
No, Rio, like, what was it?
Rio de Janeiro. Okay, I heard an N in there. Cool.
Rio, like what? What's this program? That's a COVID. That's a COVID. Rio, like Rio de Janeiro, yeah?
Cool. Thanks for saying hi, Rio. Well, it's 9
You
o'clock.
left the switch. You left the switch. He came for me to unlock it. He put the timer on it. But yeah, so now he's like, hold on, what's going on? Oh, Rio, here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Carry on.
No, I was just we're tossing around ideas, but I think this is good. I'm gonna start to consider ramping off the collaborative NFT thing, just so it was an experiment and have a cycle of it, like so it's done, but still a cohesive whole. but like I've got some opportunities here to get funding and work with other people who have. The guy that offered me this funding thing, his friend directs the education program with UNESCO, I think in Switzerland. I'm like, so there's a lot of synchronicities happening that make that this helps. Like I'm already like, yes, just keep doing the PhD research because that's gonna help children globally, and then focus on the hawks. Like Wilson was saying, maybe I don't even go into the other channels. Like I don't go into the mammals channel. I'm just like all hawks or general.
I don't do birds. I don't do birds.
Yeah. So
There's too many of them.
There's a unique, the hawks are unique in that they are the one that is a group. Like I think maybe there's a specs. The specs are specs. But
Gift codes.
Yeah, and the gift codes. But I think people got like the network, like the business kind of network, which I feel is getting the vibe that people have come in for the hawks, this remote meeting, the fact that we do remotes and that this makes complete sense. And I think there's more of association than people want to do it because they wanted to see Gary Vee. They wanted to meet him regularly on a talk. Whereas everyone else, like they got the gift code for what reason? Everyone's got, it could be a variety of different reasons, quite varying. Whereas we want to get on a chat once a month, once a quarter with Gary.
Yeah, farmers, like incubator spaces, like entrepreneurs. We're all entrepreneurs.
Yeah, entrepreneurs or like business people with business hustler or improvement mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the other ones are maybe, maybe some community, like this is more focused. I can feel this is focused. Maybe there are people that are not part of that, but they're not in this Zoom right now.
Yeah. And
they may or may not be in the chat so much. So it's exciting. But yeah, I think it's been 3 hours, so I'm gonna wrap it up. And I think as I'm talking about the flowing my brain.
I don't talk much generally, so yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say, so what can we just end up with some again, what we're going to share? What's our sort of action items coming out of this? Because there's 3 of us, so it's easy to do it manually. Accountability. So what are we going to do? Take away from this that we're going to.
So you're going to do social media, right? You're going to create the accounts, right? Just make the accounts. And the website.
Okay. You can start with watching Alex's video because I think it helped me get clarity on I don't know, unless you already know what you want to post.
Not to post. Okay.
What do you want us to hold you accountable for? That who can check up on you, just see how you're doing, maybe? Realistically, that you could do in let's say 2 weeks.
Okay. You know what? Start posting some TikToks. And it'll be what might be the real estate stuff I need to schedule because I can't leave the house. Just start posting some on TikTok. Just start posting.
We can practice, literally just practice, right? And it's you don't have to make it public. Just shoot some videos and then get feedback. Even that can
just get familiar with the platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Great content for the platform. I did with Snapchat. I was on Snapchat a bit, just playing with it and recording stuff in Tokyo and things like that. So I kind of had an idea. Okay, so that's my takeaway. I'm just create some videos, anything.
You can start drafts in there. You can a lot of people will start they keep 20 drafts. I'm starting to do that all night. I have time. I'm going to make 3 right now. Leave them in my drafts folder, and you can put them later. So do 10. Just do 10 draft videos, and you'll learn a ton from just and you can get ready to post, and then just put it in your draft folder, and you can post it anytime you want.
Okay.
Or you can even watch some videos to get inspiration, because I think that's what Alex was saying in his thing of you have to figure out the psychology of what people are doing so that you can
make 10 videos and put them in your draft folder and then post one.
Okay, all right, okay, 10 videos. 10 videos.
Forget what I said. Forget what I said.
No. The reason I laughed is you could just watch some videos. So I signed up to TikTok a month ago or so, and I was going and I didn't follow anyone because just Japanese girls shaking their ass or shaking titties or doing something with it. I mean, I'm okay, scroll. Okay, you know what? Let me just Gary Vee, and then every third one is some business that has been some business-related content in between ass and tits, or some weird Japanese guy doing some weird shit with half naked.
That's why random things could be viral. That's why.
Yeah. So when you said watch a few to understand what sticks, I'm okay, the shit I'm saying at the start is oh fuck. So. Yeah, but anyway, so that's okay. That's my thing. Make 10 videos, at least in the draft. I'm sure once it's in the draft, like that's the first step. Once it's in the draft, then it's easy just to post. Okay, make 10 videos. That's it. That's my takeaway. I'm gonna do that.
Cool.
It'll be me doing COVID, but that's it.
What about you, Wilson?
Oh, I think I'm gonna try to network with a little more and just reach out to like what Emil was saying with
Other hosts.
Yeah, like other
like owners.
There are a couple, but I felt kind of weird reaching out to them because I thought like they might see it as a competition, because there's not a lot of makerspaces in New York just because the real estate is so expensive. Like one of the bigger ones actually like left, and actually went to Colorado. So there's only like one or two more. I'm gonna try to reach out to them and see if they can like give a little bit of feedback, but also kind of network with more people, like not just influencers, but people that have expertise, because that's what I kind of want, just people with expertise to come and then share their skills with people so that I can create communities around those people's expertise. So I'm gonna try to do a little more of that, because I've been doing this a little bit, but then I kind of have to put myself out there a little more. Yeah.
So mine's 10 videos. How many messages? Because create something that's a bit hard.
Can I do 10? Is 10 too little or too much?
Oh no, but so you're gonna message 10 people about maybe like just wanting to speak with them about a collaborative space.
Yeah.
People that do it. Okay. Yeah.
10 people.
10 people. And I think you mix it up with people that already make events on, rather than creating your own event.
Yeah.
Like people on Meetup that have events saying, hey, are you interested? Like a few people, like 5 people that, are you interested in using my space for your event? You have an event, I have a great space. Because if no one's ever come there, you may not even know what works or what doesn't, what they like, what they dislike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a handful of messages, say 5 to 10 for network space owners. You can act as like mentor to a degree, and 10
5 to 10 to just like
the event, like so just like 10 messages. 10
10
messages to relevant people asking for, can I talk, or do you want to come see my space?
Yeah,
that's super deliverable. Yeah.
I'll do 5 of each for now. Just
yeah, fine.
2 space and 5 and 5 and 5.
How about 3 of each?
Okay, 3 of each. Yeah. More
3 and 3. And if you see more, then copy paste, shoot that message out.
Yeah.
But 3 of each, I think, is easy.
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
The first message is the one that needs to get done.
I'm gonna meet with D-Rock, and I'm not gonna talk about the third thing. I'm gonna start with who I am and talk about Hawks and my PhD. And I'm gonna keep the focus on those 2 things. And then I'm also gonna build the party site.
Can you also, like, if you say like, I also want to give him a book game if he's open to like just chatting also? Because the fact that he's like in New York, and like I feel like I kind of want like all the rejected VeeFriends interns. So just like I just need some people to like work for me. So like I need to figure out a way to like start hiring.
Yeah,
so I just want all the like rejected interns that like they don't want, and just like forward me the resume so I can like kind of start hiring people to.
Yeah, because Robert had asked me the same. Yeah, so I'll do what I said, but then I'll also ask him if I'll say other Hawks. I let some Hawks know they're interested in a similar barter. Are you in?
Yeah.
And if you want that talk with him, I think when you do the video, like maybe even ask him.
Can you record it? Yeah, see if you can record it.
I'm gonna wait till we're in person and then ask him. Yeah, if he follows Gary, I don't think he's in the camera. I'll ask him now. I'll say, is it okay if I record this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, but also I meant for your one. If you do end up doing a talk with D-Rock. If you do end up doing that 1 hour meeting with him, if it's via video, I can be at your location, because you can say, this is my space, and he can see it.
Yeah.
Right there, and you can look him on, in 30 seconds, he can just really see a bunch of photos and check it out. I think that'll be so much more value than talking about it versus this is where this is my space that I've got. And he may turn around, I've got so many creatives that are just keen on that. You say, yeah, like, I want to open up the brief, whatever the discussion goes, but I just recommend being in that space. But that's a bit of a tangent.
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely would do that.
Okay. So, we'll,
So Darby, your two. What was your sort of action item? One more time.
my
just
action
to-
item is to stay focused in my conversation with D-Rock about my narrative, right? And then my second one was to build out the party site with admin roles so that I can help facilitate collaboration and not do all the creative myself.
I feel you're going to do that anyway. That doesn't need to be an action item. 'cause you're gonna do that.
You're right.
The action items are kind of like stuff that we kind of are refusing or.
I'm
feeling
honestly
that-
pretty nervous I'm nervous at disclosing like my personal story. So like telling him who I am and like the PhD, I always feel like that's not going to come across right. So that actually makes me pretty nervous. So I'm gonna
type it out.
Okay, be
So,
vulnerable.
like,
Yeah, why don't you just
be
prep it?
vulnerable
That could be
about
your action item to prep
Yeah.
prep like a little bit of things so you have bullet
Zero
points
10.
to like go with him.
Even though the
Well,
same, yeah.
so-
Another action item. What else?
No, I don't think you need them.
No, actually,
That's-
there was one other thing. So I have been falling off on my TikTok practice. I have not been posting every day, and I'm losing followers. So I'm gonna post every day between now and Tuesday. Just one post.
You can lose followers. I feel like it's so much effort to unsubscribe to somebody.
Or I know people that they're like, I hate TikTok. I'm off the app. They get off the app.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
I think okay. So
I mean, I lost I don't know.
write out what you want to say.
Yeah.
It's not because you already know exactly, like you want to describe your work, the nature of your work. You want it to be succinct, not take up a lot of time. and
Actually,
very
now that I
effective.
think about it, it's D-Rock. I'm really not worried. Like the way he communicated through Twitter, I'm like, he's like us. It's family. I'm sure it'll be fun.
But you don't want to miss a key important point that you may just skip in this situation, or because you don't think it's worthwhile.
I have a
or-
weird. In my head, I'm like, what if Gary walks by in the background? I'll get distracted.
What if he's there? Oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh,
I'll be like, oh my gosh.
You give him a second to talk to this
Hello.
guy. Yeah, like, oh, where's my script? Where's my script?
You're right. I'll write a script.
Just do it.
Simple
and-
outline.
and-
Yeah, I'll be ready.
And yeah, I can review it if you like, or I think the host can review it if you want. If you want to, like, you can show it to us as well, and we'll say, oh, this is what you do. But I really think that's like your PhD, your doctor in a thing that they're going to create.
Yeah.
Don't undervalue the value that once they start talking about that internally.
Mhm.
Oh, one of the Hawks, Darby, that's what she does. Let's reach out to her and
It's like all my
D-Rock's
friends
like,
do
oh
that.
yeah, I've already spoken with her. I've already spent 5 hours talking with her. Like that's like
Thanks.
you're setting yourself up.
That's what my gut says. I'm in the right place, but the verbal feedback is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys.
Okay. Good night.
Take some
Good
better
day.
pills.
All right.
All right.
Good morning. Afternoon.
See me slowly demise. As the...
Yeah.
I'm so
Okay.
tired now. All right. See you guys.
All right.
See you guys.
thanks.
Bye.
I personally am so grateful for you listening to this episode of the Hawk Vlog. If anything resonated with you, please leave a comment and let us know. We'd love to spread the useful parts of this video to help as many as possible. And if you'd be so kind to like and subscribe on all the channels you are hearing this or watching this on, I'll say thank you again, for real. From one hawk to another, Ka.